See how we live. trying to keep it simple as possible. You know what I do? Get your Gucci on sight, yeah. Rollers on ice, yeah. Get first class flights, yeah. Put it riding like a bike, yeah. Get a brand new wag, hey. Be quiet, don't brag, hey. You ain't never pump gas, hey. Need to keep it on task, yeah.
Work your fingers to the bone. I know you can keep it warm. Don't you leave, it's getting cold. I got you and you got me. Don't be scared if we complete love and war, the same damn thing. Yeah. Oh love, it's like I'm fading away. I want more, I want more. Oh love, I really want you to stay. We'll push it to the edge for real. We'll push it to the end now. We'll push it to the end now. I want your body, all in. 'Cause I love the way you make me feel. We'll push it to the end now. We'll push it to the end now. I want your body, all in. 'Cause I love the way you make me feel. I want your body, all in. Oh love, it's like I'm fading away. I want more, I want more. Oh love, I really want you to stay. We'll push it to the edge for real. We'll push it to the end now. We'll push it to the end now. I want your body, all in. 'Cause I love the way you make me feel. We'll push it to the end now. We'll push it to the end now. I want your body, all in. 'Cause I love the way you make me feel. I want your body, all in. I want your
Give me all that you got now. Make you want me 'cause I'm hot now. I'm gone, so faded, I'm on one. Bang, bang, pop off like a long gun. If you a lame nigga, you ain't making no noise. Get faded, turn up with the big boys. Live fast, die young, that's my choice. Get money like an invoice. We can rumble in the whip. Make the money, make the grip. I be stunning with my click. Get it faded till we trip. Man, I love to get on. I love to get too on. When the drink be too strong. When the tree be way too strong. Get faded, turn up, bro, pull it on up till I can't even think no more. Get ratchet, go dumb, then go more dumb, then we can keep it lit, let's roll. I love to
shaped like a horse's, pretty like a portrait, mouth full of diamonds and porcelain. Bitch, I know I'm gorgeous. Little bitty waist, big titties, I don't need no corset. Rich off these endorsements, shy hoes lazy. I always worry about a boyfriend. Potty and thick, I'm tasting the money. It look like I ate a few hundred. Just hopped on a G6. I'm getting hit while I'm playing my Switch. Found out about that nigga.
Hype CATJAM.
Look good in my throwbacks, look good chubby, I look good slim. Ignoring the haters that speak on my body, this pussy in front of them. Ayy, pulling whole scale pack like a scrunchie. Tuned in, you gotta be monthly. A bum bitch can't get in my company. Surrounded by stars like I'm repping my country. Projection, whole lot of projecting. You do the shit that you put on the next bitch. Bet against me, fuck up your parlay. These niggas know I'm the biggest investment. Ayy, I'm at the top of my game. I'm who they hate. This shit come with the fame. That's how I knew that I made it. I woke up looking this good. I'm in my prime. These niggas gotta get played. If these bitches ain't mad, I need to go harder. I can't let them think we the same. Everything bigger in Texas, no injections. We at the pro, no elections. Bitch, don't come around me trying to pass out drugs. Oh, I ain't popping no Teslas. I don't wanna take no pictures. I don't get along with these out here bitches. I don't even know this hoe. The bitch keep begging me for attention. This pimp shit ain't nothing new to me. I knew he was for the community. These hoes let us stick around and get their heart broke. I'ma bounce on a nigga like booty cheeks. Slide down on the dick like new sheets. Don't know what to do to me. Y'all hoes treat a nigga like a death row meal. I treat niggas like charcuterie. Self-made, asexual, and I'm always on point like a decimal. Irritating these bitches like eczema. I can hang anywhere like a testicle. So much winning, they thinking it's rigged. Never thought I was.
I'm just kidding. I'm not muted, you fucking idiots. What's good, gang? What's good, gang? What's up, y'all? Muted, 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 muted. What's up, everybody? Hello, welcome to the New World class. Welcome, welcome. Big New World class tonight. Big New World class. What's up, everybody? Welcome in, y'all.
19 months, sweet.
Holy shit, are we kicking the stream off the right way? Are you kidding me? Now, before I start thanking people, I do have to start the stream by saying I'm going to be pumping the fucking ads out. Pumping the ads out. I don't want to hear one person say, oh my God, Apples, I got another ad. Oh my God. I don't want to hear it. Okay? If you want this information, especially if you don't know War, I think it's worth $6 fucking or a Twitch Prime. Okay? So drop a sub. I'm going to be doing one class a week. And we're doing a company tier list stream next week as well. So your sub lasts for an entire month. Okay? Sub lasts an entire month. And you won't have to deal with ads for the entire month of classes and tier lists and all kinds of shit that we're bringing to the channel. Okay? So I don't want to hear nothing about ads. Quit being a broke bitch. Go shovel the sidewalk outside. Go mow a lawn. Get your $6 and come drop a sub. Okay? Let's start off the stream by thanking some people here. All right? We got Penderin and Coffee with Linda with the offline subs. What's good? DeBear465, Crimson Rain, and Symptomus Prime with the follows. Baker with the resub for 12 motherfucking months. 12 motherfucking months. What's good? Didn't your boy Willie do this kind of thing for free? Is this our first person, guys? Is this our first one of the day? Did we just make an execution to prove a point right off the rip? Respectfully, I fuck with your boy Willie. I like his hustle. Get your $40K a month. He doesn't know a goddamn thing about War. Don't come in this chat talking about your boy fucking Willie. I don't fucking care, okay? I'll let chat make the decision if you're allowed to stay or not. That's a drone-ass fucking bullshit. Don't come in here with that shit, okay? Okay? Don't come in with that shit. Thank you. Baker, 12 months. Thank you for the sub. 21 Cabbage. I fucking love that name. 21 Cabbage. Subscribe for a month at tier 1. Thank you, first time sub. Creepa with a raid of 25. Creepa, what's good, dog? Hope you're tearing up the EU scene still, brother. What's good? JBL, prime that of his goddamn mind. Prime that of his goddamn mind for 19 months. Happy 19 months, sweetie. Love you, girl. Barboza, Barboza, blessings up, the first gifted sub of the evening. Barboza, 5 gifted subs. If anybody's got gifteds, if anybody wants to drop it while it's hot, now's the time, because once we get going, I won't have time to thank people. We're going to be getting into the class, and we're going. The class will be starting in 5 minutes, y'all. This is just the introduction. This is just to thank the subs and the follows. Welcome in, y'all. I'm happy to be able to provide this educational content for you every single week. And anytime that I'm not in the classroom, y'all, you guys are more than welcome to come in. As long as I'm not in a war or busy doing something, I'll answer all of your war questions all of the time. So Barboza, 5 gifted subs. Thank you very much, man. Every sub goes a long way. This is the end of the month. We got a rent check coming in. We need to pay rent end of the month, so every fucking sub goes towards that, and I'll be blessed beyond belief if you bless me with a sub. Thank you, Barboza, for blessing me with not 1 sub, not 2 sub, not 3 sub, not 4 sub, but 5 subs. We got a scam train going right now. Choo choo. All aboard the motherfucking scam train. We got A Smash primed out of their goddamn mind. We got Mr. Atlas TV sub. First time sub, tier 1. Thank you. We got Rem gifting out a community sub. Hey, I'm still thinking about you, Rem. I hope you're doing all right. All right, keep your spirits up, big dog. Tally914 with the follow. Thank you. Victor Victoria with the follow and first time prime out of their goddamn mind. We got ad time from Zert. You got your fucking ass. We're going to hit an ad time. We got Orestes primed out of your goddamn mind. Thank you for the first time prime. Welcome in, y'all. We got a jam-packed evening. So for those of you guys, I'm going to let the ad finish real quick. The ad's going to play out, and then we're going to talk about the run of show and what's going to be happening this evening in tonight's stream, okay? We're going to talk about where you could be involved with, what you could do. I'm going to be showing a lot of things on stream, but let's let the ad play out for a minute. Let's say hi to everybody, okay? We're going to let the ad play out so all the broke bitches can come back and join us here shortly, okay? Take a seat. We're going to go through everything in just a minute. Let's get some hype up in here, though. While we're waiting for the broke boys to come back to the stream, let's get some fucking excitement, baby. This is our end of the year 2025 intro to war class, baby! Berg, primed out of their goddamn mind. Beefy White Guy, 10 gifted subs. Can we get a W in the chat for Beefy White Guy? Beefy White Guy with the fly top. Beefy White Guy. Woo! Todzilla! Let's go, baby. 7th grade math teacher approved. Blessed us. All right, welcome back from the ads, y'all. I don't give a fuck if you want to call me broke. This is my job right now. I'm here to entertain you, and I'm here to educate you. And if you can't find the value of $6 to have laughs and learn and hang out with me for a month, then you're just a brain dead retard that free leeches off of other streamers. So I don't want to fucking hear it, okay? I think what I'm providing to the community is worth $6 or a free Twitch Prime. And I think that the content that I'm going to provide over the next month is worth $6 or a Twitch Prime. Okay, so if you're a broke retard, just say you're a broke retard. It's okay. You don't have to sub. It's all good, but you don't have to come in here and flame me that I'm broke. Okay, that's all it is, plain and simple. All right, if you don't want to sub, it's all good. Enjoy the ads. You're going to be popping in and out. It's no problem. The ad watching helps the channel too. I'm not saying you have to sub. I'm just saying if you don't want to deal with the ads and you want to enjoy my content for the whole next month of different classes, tier list, wars, and all kinds of other shit, drop a fucking sub. That's all I'm saying, baby. Drop a sub, okay? Thank you. Mods, no tolerance. Any retard in here that, is clearly just an open world dumbass, get them out, okay? This is for war players and aspiring war players only. We don't got time for all these pussy frou-frous in the chat, okay? We don't got time for them, all right? Is anybody that steps out of line, be rad. You have 1 minute on the clock. Be rad. You have 1 minute on the clock to sub or you're out of here. 1 minute. Good luck. Good luck, be rad. So, what's up, guys? Welcome in. Welcome in. My name is Apples. We got to thank some more subs. Beefy White Guy with the 10 gifted subs. If anybody wants to drop a W for him in chat or thank him for the sub, that would go a long way. Totzilla with the resub. It's D Nick with the resub at 5 months. Thank you, D Nick. You're the GOAT for all those gifteds the other day. I'm probably high, okay? I love your name. I'm probably high. I'm probably high as well. Nice to meet you. C Money Baller Dog with the sub. Thank you. Hey, Kush. Kush. Hey. Hold on.
Great tie. Teacher approved. 7th grade math teacher.
All right. Sorry. Had someone at the door. So, we got to keep going to the thanks. C Money Baller Dog with the tier 1 sub. Thank you. Beefy White Guy with the gifted sub to Absurdity. Thank you. We got Hunch coming in with 200 bits. Thanks for the $2 tip, Hunch. Araxi with the follow. We got Smitty with the sub, tier 1. B-Rad with the follow. Thank you. Keep the stupid asinine comments to yourself. Appreciate it. BV White Guy with the gifted sub, the Nate Raid. Thank you, guys. Welcome in all. We're about to get started. Really quick, I just want to shout out who's alive and who's active and who's here. Last night, we had some PV ears in Arctica saying that I view-botted the whole stream channel. So who's up in here right now? If you're here to learn some war, if you're here to flame me, to meme me, to do whatever it is, if you're just here to enjoy some nice, wholesome content, who the fuck is here right now? Type a scale, type a 1, type something. If you are alive and hearing my voice, I just want to shout out the people that decided to show up. Anrose, what's good? Capone, Aspect, Absurdity, Stare on Bush, Tubes, what's good, baby? Stops, It's D Nick, Kapostowski, Probably I, okay, Mr. Atlas, Edna Green, Adora, Crispy, Lamaco, Tio Iro, holla, that's your boy, Topzilla. Look at the crowd today, baby, coming in. Spidero, your mom, clapping, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? I don't know what that meant. Something just happened. I don't know what just happened, but something just happened. Thank you for whatever the fuck that was. Thank you. I don't know what that sound was, but thank you. We have Spidero, we have Clappin' T, Damn It Dustin, Beefy, Berg, Daniels, Hutch, Stare on a Bush, Past Steves, Rye Guys, Simex, JBL, Rupert. We got motherfucking, it's coming in hot right now. Zach, D-Nick, Teasy, Freya in the house, Gail, Darmery, Adirs, Locktar, Trevor, Zert, FPS, Night for Day, Where the E-Kittens at, Balix coming in hot. Parmigiana's Modestone on top. I'm a paid view bot for real. Vader Variant coming in hot with the sub. Thank you for the gifted sub, or thank you for the resub, Vader. Appreciate you. Everyone in chat is paid actors, true and real. I got the bots off some foreign website. I really got motion. I got chat spamming ones. Been fired up for this all day. Bot for views.ch, discount code apples. Big Mac coming in. Munch with the resub at 10 months. Adora licking some things. Hunch, are you kidding me? Can we get some dubs in the chat for Hunch? Touch with the 25, Beefy with the 10. Fucking, we can't forget the 5 coming in earlier from, who was the 5? There's been so many subs coming in. The 5 from Barbosa, man, you guys are killing it. Get your gifts in right now. Get your resubs in right now, because we are about to start in just 1 minute, and we are going to be doing a huge run of show for you tonight. Welcome in. I'm really excited. So let's just clarify one thing right off the rip, guys. Level 9 scam train for 4 minutes, though. Can we get that to a level 10? Choo-choo. All aboard. Welcome in, guys. Listen. We're just going to address one thing, and we're going to say it one time and one time only, so I'm never asked this question again, okay? Why did Apples disband Cosmic? Okay, here's the deal. So, TLDR, Prim Boys didn't feel like leading anymore. They were the ones actually leading Cosmic. I was just a figurehead. I'm super busy IRL. Catch you guys up on my life. I'm currently starting my own photography business and videography business. My friend is putting me through the photography boot camp, so to speak, right? So I'm currently working on that. I also, I do a lot of things, man. I'm streaming full time. I'm sticking to the gym every other day, push, pull. You know the vibe, you gym guys. Go to the gym and shake that ass, guys. been doing a lot of things and really, really busy. When I came back to the game, I was told that I would just be a caller, and that thrusted me somehow into a gov spot. So when the Prim guys didn't want to really do anything anymore in that regards, it was, I'm not going to sit here and sweat my entire life away to fucking New World again, right? I'm not going to sit here and do the whole pussy ass shit between heaters and dopamine, right? I'm not going to do any of that, right? So we got out. We wanted nothing to do with it. It wasn't our responsibility to begin with. And we came over to Hudson Land. We created a new company called Parmigianas. And this company is aimed to have good wars against the Dreads, the crits on purple, the moppers on yellow. Shout out those companies, the Scrandy squads, right? We're just here to have fun wars. We're here to teach new players. We are looking for some new build leads in the company. We are looking for some new recruits. I believe there's only 80 in company. So if you are interested in joining Cosmic, if you want to learn more about war, if you want to get good VOD reviews, if you want to actually have a chance to get slotted in this game, come on down to Cosmic, aka the Parmigianas, over on Hudson Land. We're having a blast. We need some more experienced war players, and we need some more new war players. We need some build leads. We need some people that want to help build this community back up, okay? After the latest news of AGS, they're actually going to attempt to put some sort of effort into their game. I'm kind of revitalized with the game. I'm excited. I know. New World, AGS, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, fuck the peace sign. Load the chopper, let it rain on you. Fool me 4 times, I'm just going to stick a dildo in my ass live on stream, AGS. So let's get it together. Let's make sure we actually deliver these actionables that we've been talking about. Because, man, do you guys, let me ask you a question, chat, to kick this off. 1s, if you think AGS has a chance to improve this game. 2s, if your ship has sailed and your trust is gone. What did we think about that dev video? Do you think 1 is a good thing or 2 is a bad thing, or are you somewhere in between? Where are we at right now? Because for me, I'm skeptical. I don't think they're actually going to deliver on their words, but if they do deliver those things, I think the game has a lot of promise. I think the game can come back. I think we could get some more interest coming into that game. So hopefully, lots of 1s, lots of 1.5s. That's exactly how I'm feeling. I'm feeling in the middle. I'm excited. If they deliver all of those things, I'm here for it, and I'm locked in, and I'm a full-time New Worlder again. But if they don't deliver those things, fuck you for the 50 million time, AGS, right? Hey, gifted sub. Happy requested a gifted sub. Perhaps somebody can hook him up with that. I don't know. Maybe we can get him a gifted sub. Barboza with the 5 gifted as well. Hunch, thank you for the 25. I really appreciate that. Beefy threw 10 out. Barboza's throw 10 out. And Hunch has thrown 25 out amongst all of the other tier 1 subs coming in. So thank you guys very, very much. You guys have been rocking it. You guys have been kicking ass. Let's get into it, guys, though. Without further ado, we've seen the hype from the chat. It's time. It is time to get into it. And we have a lot of information coming in for you guys tonight. A lot of demonstrations, a lot of things. Let me get a sip of coffee, please. Let me get a sip of coffee. Settle in, guys. This is going to be for the next 2 hours. This is going to be for the next 2 hours, guys. We are going to unmute in Discord. Here, let me unmute. Hello, gamers. So listen up, chat. If you guys want to see some of the things that like Toofs, I'm going to do my best to put everything up on the stream, right? But if I'm not putting something up, if you'd rather listen to our voices in the call than not in my stream, whatever, the War Class channel is live right now, discord.gg/cosmic, discord.gg/cosmic. You can hop in. All are invited to hang out in the call while we talk about things. You can keep my stream muted. You can have double audio, whatever the hell you want to do. But we're going to get started. We're going to get into it, okay? Enough further ado. Sorry I'm a little late. I wanted to make sure that this was flushed out properly. We do have a war at 11 p.m. Eastern, so we have to cut this at 10:45 p.m. Eastern. But we're going to do this all the way through and answer questions and take a whole round table from people afterwards. So if you guys have questions throughout the whole class, write them down. Open up a notepad, get those notes taken out, right? Write your questions down. There will be a public forum to answer those questions as soon as this is all gone through, okay? So welcome in. Hey, Cruelty, thanks for the prime, and Riley, thanks for the sub as well. You guys' support has been crazy. I think we're on like a level 10 scam train right now. You guys are killing it. Thanks a lot for all the support. Really appreciate it. We have 200 viewers in the arena, so let's get started, and I'll occasionally just interject with thank yous for the people that do sub throughout the stream. Cruelty, Prime Under the Goddamn Mind, first time sub, thank you. Royalty, thank you very much. We're about to get started. I am streaming on my screen right now. If you do want to pull up my stream and mute it, you're going to be able to see kind of our agenda and some of the things that we're going to be talking about and getting into and describing. I'm going to blow my nose so I'm not sounding stuffed the whole time. Hang tight, one second. All right, let's dive in, y'all. Let's dive in. So, the agenda tonight, what are we going to be going through? What are we going to be talking about? What's on the agenda this evening? So, we have an introduction, right? An introduction, which I'm just going to talk about, intro stuff, pretty simple stuff, right? Then we're going to get into just the whole process of war, starting from the war prep, what do you need to war, all the way through war terminology, war roster compositions, the war raid plan, and then the actual fucking war, right? All the things that we do to get ready for war, and then war. What does it actually look like? What's going on in the war and all that stuff. After we get through everything, we will be taking a round table and taking questions. Like I said, we do have future segments planned. So every weekend we're going to be doing future segments. Next weekend will be the company tier list, the first fresh start company tier list from my channel. We're also going to be doing individual class micro builds with special guests. So healers, melees, VGIGs, kill squads, quad DPS. We're going to be going through those things in the future. We're going to do live VOD reviews on stream and what a real VOD review looks like. I feel like there's a lot of people in this scene that like pretend to be VOD reviews and they're just like, you did a good job popping your health pod in 3 minutes. They don't know what the fuck's going on. So we'll actually do and demonstrate a live VOD review and what it's supposed to look like in the future, right? We're going to work on each group, macro, micro groups 1 through 10, very specific, intricate things about each group and and a quad DPS class. We're also going to talk about advanced war macro, micro classes in the future, a caller class, all of you aspiring callers out there. We're going to do a caller class one day, and then finally the last class would probably be intercompany politic dynamics and how to actually run a company 101, not how you guys think you should run a company 101, right? How to actually do it. But anyways, here we are. We went through the agenda. Let's get into it. Without further ado, welcome in everybody all the way across from Hudson Land, all the way to the deep seas of the West Coast and EU. Appreciate you guys being here, okay? So, let's get right into it. The goal of war, right? What is the goal of war when you think about this shit, right? What is your job in war, and how do you win the war, more importantly, right? Winning the war, right? How do we get to that point? The main thing that I like to talk about, and Toof's helped me kind of create this sentence here, instead of thinking how many kills, damage, assist, heals, group fights, you're winning your fight, you're winning your lane, all that stuff. Instead of thinking about war like that, you need to think where clump. Yeah, that's another thing. Where's the clump? You need to think about everyone in the war needs to shift that thinking into how they can influence the point tick regardless group they are in, right? I see a lot of kill squads. For example, I was casting and analyzing the Dread versus Moppers. Moppers were on the defense, Dread were on the attack. I forgot what territory it was. It was just a few days ago. And I was kind of appalled what I was seeing from the kill squads. This isn't flame. This isn't to, shit talk anybody. It's none of that, right? It's just, it is what it is, right? And I'm watching like the wide fight and both teams are completely lost. The group 9 fight on both teams are pretty lost. It was just a shit show, right? And while there were a lot of times that, this is a perfect example, while there were a lot of times that Dread were winning the kill squad fights and winning opposite Bonfire, and not just winning it, but dominating it, right? The Mopper's defense kill squads were all pushed up on their ramparts, which is just a huge no-no. And Oppo was just purely dominated from the Dread side of things, right? But they didn't win the point, and they got 1 point held. Why is that? Macro, macro, macro. You can be as good as you want clicking your buttons and watching your stand management and your consumes. You got to do all that to play the game, right? But then your brain is what's going to separate you from everybody else, right? And the fact that Dread was doing, I don't know if Moppers was intentionally wanting this to happen, but Dread was quite literally just so focused on that Rampart fight that they weren't actually influencing the point tick. They were just LARPing on Ramparts, taking their 10v10 on repeat, right? And these are all things that we'll get into and how it works and why you should be doing different things. But let's just say that Group 9 decided to look in. instead of fighting at ramparts. Now that point spinning more. Now healers are pressured more. Now we're getting more players to the point. Now we're getting more control to the point, and now we're spinning the point. Keep in mind, guys, you can win your fight. You could win your group 9 lane. You could win your group 8 lane. You could win your bonfire lane. You could win your bottom quads. You could win your top quads. You can win your ramparts. You could win your wide fight. You could do all these things. But none of it matters unless you're ticking the point. I think we all forget that the objective of the game is to get that point spin up to 100%, get into the fort, and get that point spin up to 100%, okay? So you can farm, you can dominate, you can do all of those good things, but you have to still win the war. And I think that's what Dread did a poor job on in their last Moppers War. They were winning the fights. They were winning Bonfire. They were winning some of the point. They were winning Oppo Bond. They were winning everything. They just weren't winning the actual war. So tick the goddamn point. That's the goal of the war. And I suggest to people that when you're in the war, before the war starts, talk to your group, right? In microcomms. How are we going to impact the fight after we win our fight, guys? How are we, if we lose our fight, what's our game plan? How are we going to kite the fight away so that them winning the fight doesn't mean they're impacting the point, right? It's not just about what do you do after you win the fight. It's also about what do we do if we lose the fight? To minimize the impact of us losing the fight to the point. What can we do? How can we kite it? Where do we go? What's our positioning, right? So all those things, you should be having that process when you're going into war and thinking about how are you going to impact winning the war the most, okay? That's our goal of war. That's something that we're going to eventually get to. But introduction, let's get right into it. The intro, who am I? My name's Apples. I've been around the war scene since forever, since predating to pre-alphas, early betas, all of that, since launch, since first fresh start, since now, right? I've taken my breaks here and there, but I've always been involved in the scene. I was the founder with like a bunch of other lovely people like Mrs. Riot and crew of Cosmic Scales. What is Cosmic? Cosmic was always, we used to be this like build people up company when we first started, right? We were all growing together. We were all doing that. And then we started to like keep getting better and better that we eventually entered into like the tier 2 war scene, you would call it, right? And from there on, we just became like, sadly a war logging company where we were only focused on doing everything we can to win wars and compete, right? But now, that's the Cosmic Scales, right? We've been around for a long time. We've been beat up on by a lot of companies. We've beat up on a lot of companies, and that's just the name of the game, right? You win some and you lose a lot. That's New World War, right? But what is the Parmesanas? The Parmesanas is a new company coming into Hudson Land. It's created by some of the Cosmic core, right? We have people like, longtime Diana and Hunch, Cosmic members, Tooth, Beefy, myself, Hawks. There's like a whole bunch of us that kind of came together to put this on. We have Tiles. He's helping out everywhere he can. Of course, Mrs. Riot's still around. So that's kind of the Parmesanas. And we're building it. We're trying to rebuild this community, right? To make it so we're getting back to our roots of like teaching players and building them up and having fun wars. Instead of, one thing I like to talk about New World is everybody keeps trying to make this an ultra competitive professional esport game, so to speak, right? And it's just simply not, guys. When you talk about Valorant, when you talk about Counter-Strike, when you talk about Overwatch, it's all like set teams with set environments in set competitive fields, right? When you talk about New World War, you have half the game's broken. You can't defense properly because the fort respawns are all bugged. There's about 9 different exploits in the game, some that people don't even know about, so it can't even be fair on both sides. You have so-and-so calling in saying their dog ate their homework and they can't make the war 5 minutes after polls went out. You have leadership having to DM 45 people to show up to a certain time slot. The game is not competitive as much as we want it to make it to be. And I was always in that competitive scene, like, it is competitive, blah, 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 but it's just simply not. Okay, and you can see the game, how it's playing out everywhere. And I think some of us need to take a little step back and approach this game more as like a for fun with friends, building up, accomplishing a common goal, and getting better at the game. So that's kind of what Parmesanas is here for. We're on Hudson Land. We're super excited. Can I get, just out of curiosity, because there is 200 viewers in the chat right now, if you are in Hudson Land, can you say something like a W or an H or something or 1 just to see how many Hudson Lands are actually in the chat right now? I wanted to put this on for the Hudson Land gamers. Look at them. They're pouring in. The Hudson Land gamers. Let's rise up the war scene of Hudson Land. Let's make it a fun place to be, not a toxic environment. I mean, still shit talk your shit. I'm still going to call some people drones, right? But, not an overly like harassment place. Let's make this a fun server, a fun place to be, and let's raise up the competition around us so we can all have have fun wars and all continue getting better at the video game. So shout out all the Hudson Land, and shout out the rest of you that are here from all over the other servers, right? I know there's some TFR gang up in here. You know, you probably got some Quack homies hanging out, lurking in the background. You got, the 50-man heaters call that Anrose is leading, right? You got all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds and servers. So welcome in, guys. Welcome in. So that's a little about who am I, what is Cosmic, and what is the Parmesanas, right? Why are we doing this? What is the purpose of this? Well, other than the farm my rent bill every month, right? It's going to be a class intended to educate the new returning wave of players that feel like there's no educational content out there. I'm always told, right, whenever I look up on YouTube, there's no war content. It's just like people streaming their VODs or something. There's no classrooms. There's no education system. There's no way to get information about war unless you join one of these war logging companies to learn off them, and even then it's not that helpful. So that's what these classes are for, to kind of introduce you guys into war and how to do it. But with all this being said, keep in mind there's nothing that can prepare you for a war other than being in war itself, right? I've watched hundreds of healer VODs, thousands of healers VODs, right? I've healed OPR for thousands of hours, right? I've even done a lot of farm wars as a healer. Last night, I had the pleasure that was my first real healing war. And by a real war, I just mean like a competitive war on each side. I was in that, the Scrandy squad versus whoever it was. I think it was Dread or Moppers or I think it was Dread, right? And, granted, I was prepared and I had the thought process and how to use my abilities and how to manage my stam and my consumes. And, I was prepared. But I was in there and I was like, shit, I got to alt look. I got to be wary of what's going on Bon, on Oppo. I got to keep an eye on the kill squads. I got to make sure I'm not getting pressured from the sides. So I'm using myself as an example, a real life example from last night, that even though you might watch a bunch of VODs or watch a bunch of streams or go through this class or, whatever it may be, nothing is going to prepare you for war other than war itself. So make sure to try and get as many reps as you can, get into new companies, and I can share ways to do that in the future, right? But basically this class is intended for educating the new returning wave of players that feel like there's no educational content out there. There's no resources. You need to learn somewhere. We all get these poor quality wars, right? And two, for veteran players, maybe as a refresher course, maybe, some of that macro has kind of dipped off since we got into this fresh start aspect. So watching other wars, the macro is pretty lost despite some of these players' companies being around for years. It doesn't quite make sense like where we're at in the game and why we're still repeating some of these same mistakes. It's like fresh start happened and everyone forgot how to war and never knew how to war to begin with, right? So we're going to get into it. That's a little introduction. We're past the first tab. You guys are like, shut the fuck up, apples already, and get into the content. I know. Well, let's get into it. Number 2, war prep. What do you need for war? Coffee sip, everybody. Everyone take a sip of your coffee or your water, or take a shot, take a hit, whatever you need to do. Riley, thanks to the sub of 9 months. And Renji_E, thanks to the sub at 15 months. All right. So, war prep. What do you need for war? Well, there's a lot of things that you have to do to be able to be even selected or chosen or considered for war, right? If you don't do all of these things, I'm just not, me as a war leader, I can't speak for the other companies on Hudson Land or the other companies in the game, but me as a war leader, you're not getting slotted unless you could do this right now, okay? Hey, on Spawn, that's a great question. But here's the deal. We're holding questions to the end, okay? We're going to get through this. If I answered everyone's questions about war, we'd be here forever. So we're going to hold the questions to the end, write them down on a separate paper or something on a notepad, and come back in for your questions at the end. And I got you. I'll answer everything. No worries. All good. Thanks for being here. So yes, Anrose, get your pen and paper out. You need to know all this stuff. Okay, so what do you need for war? If you don't do these things bare minimum, you're not going to be in a war that I'm planning, period. That's not an egotistical thing. That's not an elitism thing. This right here on my screen is fucking easy. It's very, very simple stuff. We're not talking about anything complicated. This is base level shit that you have to do. And if you can't put the effort in to at least do these things, fuck you. You're wasting my time. That's all I got for it, right? Other companies might be desperate enough for your attention or for your participation that they don't care about these things. But a company that's trying to improve, a company that's trying to get better, you better have these things, and we're going to go through them. So tickets, get your tickets. I'm going to show you right now in Cosmic's Discord how to get a ticket. But, this isn't everybody's Discord. So I don't know how it's all set up. But here's Cosmic's Discord, right? And in Cosmic's Discord, all you have to do is go to welcome, create ticket, click this button. When you click this button, it'll populate a ticket. And when the tickets come, we sort them and we get into them, right? I'm just going to use maybe Hawks. Perfect. Hawks has a great example here. So this is Hawks ticket. This is the gov of the Parmesanas. I'm not the gov, by the way. I'm just a console helper. This is Hawks ticket, right? So we're looking at Hawks ticket. This is what you're going to want to have in there. You're going to have a gear check where all your gears in here, your weapons, blah, blah, blah. And I'm actually going to pass the mic to Toofs in a minute, and he's going to show you an alternate way to create the gear check. But this is how we used to do it before there were fancy websites that allowed us to do that, right? And you put all your shit nice and neat. Okay, what you don't want to do, I don't want to put anybody on blast, but there's people that post like each piece of gear individually, or there's people that are on an Xbox taking a picture with their camera on the TV. Let's figure it out. Okay, let's figure it out. Nobody wants to go through and have to scroll down for an hour to read all of your gear. We want it in a nice clean cut picture. Okay, nice clean cut picture. Here's all of your VODs. Here's your VODs, right? That's your VODs. You're going to be posting your VODs. And that's pretty much all you need. Now, you know, for a caliber of Hawks, a player of caliber of Hawks, he doesn't really need his gem split. He doesn't really need like his build. We know he knows what he's doing, right? But for a newer player, you're probably going to want to put your gem split, your attribute distribution, your build. You're probably going to want to put those things because, like, for example, we have people in this company that think like Greatsword Bow is okay, or Rapier IG is okay, or, you know, you name it. Lifestaff Great Axe is okay. None of that's okay. And if you put your build in your ticket, we can coach you and get you on something a little bit more effective. So that's your point of your ticket. It's for gear check, VODs, build, and comms with leadership. Okay. And once I get through this war prep, we're going to toss it over to Toofs, and he's going to show you guys what New World Buddy is like and how to set that up. So you can either do the gear check in the old fashioned way or in his way that will be explained in a moment. Also, next step. After your ticket, you got your ticket all set up, you're ready to go. Also, ticket's a great way to communicate with all the leadership without flooding their DMs. For me personally, I don't know about other company leaders in the chat, but for me personally, I hate waking up to 25 DMs. It just like, I pretty much ignore them, unfortunately. It's just like I don't know, like I get to them when I can get to them kind of thing. I'm not on my computer. I don't feel like answering them on my phone. But if you post in your ticket and you at leadership with any communications you have, now everybody can see it. Now, instead of asking one person that might not see your DM, now 15 people see it and everyone's on the same page. So use your ticket to communicate with leadership unless it's a little bit more of an intimate conversation that you need a 1v1 conversation with, right? Cool. So moving forward. Next step, signing up in Discord and in-game. Okay, so signing up in Discord, this is what it looks like. You should have a war sign-up channel in your company's Discords. If you don't have this, you're trolling and you're lost, okay? Wow, 54 people. And here, just to show everybody how much I annoy them, right? Unsigned message. Bang. Ping. Hey, guys. 100 people with perms. 55 signed up. This is for future wars. Tell us your spec. Please and thank you. Bang. And that's going to shoot a ping to all the slackers. Coffee Pot and TZ and Largest Biceps, you're all slackers. Matastone, Biota, you're all slackers. I4, Die, In-Game, Nitrogen, Tempo, you're all slackers. All these guys are slackers, right? They're all slackers. It's just exposed everybody that's a fucking slacker. Hutch, you're a slacker. Coca, Die, Toofs. Even the leader Toofs, slacker, Hunch, another console, slacker. Even the consoles are getting exposed out here. We even have consoles getting exposed for their slacking, right? So get in there, Cosmic at least, or Parmesanas, and sign the fuck up for your main specs so we can know what's going on. But this is your war sign-up channel, right? This is what it looks like. You're going to click your spec. Here, I'll show you guys in case you don't know what you're doing, right? You're going to click your class. You could hit reset spec. Perfect. Awesome. We're going to click your class. We're going to go to my class, which is Lifestaff, and we're going to go to, bang, there I am. Signed up, ready to go, Lifestaff, locked in, okay? And you can reset your spec. You can click absence for a war. You can click tentative for a war. Late doesn't really matter. And I think bench is kind of the, I don't want a war, but if you need one, I'll be there. That's at least how Cosmics always ran. Bench is the whole, like, I'm not feeling like getting on the game today, but if you need one, I'm there. Okay, tentative is you're not sure, absence is you're out, and then you're signing up, right? Easy peasy. Let me just do this real quick. Rapier. Perfect. Main spec, signed up, and there it is. Apples, Lifestaff, Rapier. Locked in. ready to go. Okay. So that's the second step you have to do. If you don't sign up in Discord, you can't be faulted. Nobody looks at the in-game signups in any company. So if you don't sign up in Discord, don't cry that you didn't get into the war. And if you can't sign up in Discord, go slip on a banana or do something, okay? Because that pisses off everybody. Nobody likes that. Number 2. So that's the second thing. So tickets, signing up in Discord and in game. OBS recording software, okay? If you don't know where to get OBS recording software, this is the one I use. It's called Open Broadcaster Software, OBS Project. We have it open right now, guys. This is what it looks like. Here we are, OBS, hello. If you use Streamlabs OBS, you're dumb. Streamlabs OBS uses a lot of more resources than regular OBS does. So I highly suggest using OBS Studio. This is the best OBS program out there. It's really simple. It's clean. It's to the point. And all you have to do is go to your settings, go to your recording. Hey, I'm locking my dog out because I'm not dealing with this. Bark again, you're out. Wait, Kush. All right. So here's this. You go to stream, no, output, recording. Here's your information, you're recording, you put it to a folder that you need to go to, you set your information, you hit OK, and you click start recording. It is that fucking simple. Then eventually you're going to go to YouTube. You're going to make a YouTube, right? A YouTube channel, hell yeah. Orchard Streaming, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my YouTube, this video is going to go up on there later this evening. But there's that, and you go to your YouTube studio, and look at this. You can have all of your stuff uploaded. All of this is unlisted. You see all this? I was coaching and managing a team in Deadlock, and you see how it's all unlisted? All of it, right? So that shows you that nobody can see it unless they have the link. So there you go. You don't have to share your information out there, and it can be unlisted for you. So that's how you do that, and uploading to YouTube is super, super simple, okay? You also need TeamSpeak and Discord. TeamSpeak looks like this, guys. TeamSpeak is where your microcomms will be, okay? TeamSpeak is where your microcomms will be. It looks like this, or there's older versions of TeamSpeak, right? I click the Cosmic TeamSpeak. I'm connected. I join which group that I'm going to be in for the TeamSpeak for the war, and I am communicating in my TeamSpeak, okay? You need TeamSpeak. If you don't use TeamSpeak, you're not getting into the war. Sorry about it, okay? And then you have your Discord, which we all have. Right? Plain and simple. Those are the must-haves outside of the game. Do these things outside of the game and you'll get slotted for war, okay? Next up, consumes. You're going to need on your consume bar, it's going to be infused health pot, regen serums, oak flesh or gemstone or fire pots or void pots or whatever the fuck else like you need for your build, okay? And then your cleanse pots, okay? This also might be mana pots for healers instead of these things. It could be mana pots, right? And then your cleanse pots, okay? Why are cleanse pots important? Why are they a must-have? We could skip for a second. They are a must-have because you need cleanse pots to do everything. You need cleanse pots to debt. You need cleanse pots if you have a full red bar. Cleanse pots have always been the #1 most useful war tool and war resource in the video game. Okay, a lot of us didn't know how to click our cleanse pots or buy our cleanse pots before. Now it is a 100% mandatory for every single build, every single class. If you don't have a cleanse pot, you are trolling and you should not be in war. So make sure you buy those cleanse pots. And where can you buy the cleanse pots? You can only access them inside the war shop in war. They are not able to buy. If you want to practice cleanse potting outside of war, like you're a melee or a VG or something, throw in a mana pot where that cleanse pot belongs and then practice on fake cleansing with your mana pot to get in the habit of it and when you should be using it, okay? That's a cleanse pot. Also, some of the consumables that you need to do. You need to do a honing stone. Okay, that's your weapon damage. You need a Desert Sunrise. That's your dot reduction damage. You need a mana regen food, and you need an attribute food. Now, maybe there's more things that have been introduced to the game. I don't know. But these are the mandatory baselines of consumables that you need to pop for every single war. Tier 5 Honing Stone, Tier 5 Desert Sunrise, Tier 5 mana regen food, and Tier 5 attribute food. Why, if you're a melee, can anybody answer in the chat? Why, if you're a melee, would you pop a mana regen food? First question of the day. Can anybody answer that question? Anybody? I'll wait. Anybody answer that question in the chat right now? If you were a melee, why would you use a mana regen food? All right, so nobody knows. I would use them because that's an extra buff on my bar, right? And healing you could get more heals depending on the buffs on your bar and all that stuff, right? So the mana regen, it just gives you an extra buff on your bar. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not even saying the right things. I don't know. But I've always popped an extra mana regen because it's an extra buff on your bar that doesn't like fuck with anything, okay? So things like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But that's what I do. I don't care. That's it. Attribute food, you got to use that. And then the next step, you're going to take gear off and put it back on after you load into the instance meal. Yeah, hearty meals, you meathead. Yes, I'm saying whatever that's called, the whatever hearty meal, right? Energizing hearty meal, or whatever it is, right? That's the one that you want to use. That's your mana regen food. Okay, so that's what you're using. Perfect. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Use it. Don't use it. I don't care. Take gear off. Put it back on after you load into the instance. Why do we do that? When you hover over armor, the armor weight, it shows the benefit of each armor and the crit reduction, right? So you're going to see some of that is missing. This is always bugged. In fact, some people say it's bugged after every death. Now, I don't know if that's completely true or not, but hey, if you feel like you're dying or you feel like you're getting farmed a little bit, take off your gear off a respawn, and always make sure you do this before the war starts. Take off your gear. I'd recommend having an extra gear set that's just empty, right? So you click the gear set that's empty, bang, you're naked, and then you go back to the gear set that has all of your gear in the way it needs to be. Bang, you put that on. It's that quick, right? Empty, back on. Bang, you're back in the war, okay? And that gets it. Yeah, they said they fixed it supposedly, but nothing's ever fixed in this video game. They also said they fixed fort respawn bugs, and I sat on a 2.5-minute respawn screen while my point team died yesterday wars, right? So just don't believe anything that they do. So you need to do that. Next, you need to check your attributes and build spec, as you might have done an OPR or a dungeon and you forgot to fix it. Your caller, the person that's going through this pre-war, should remind you of all these things. You don't have to memorize it, but they should remind you of these things as you go, right? So check your attributes, check your build spec. Always in OPR, I use Orb, right? And I like to be a little padding slut in OPR. And I also run 150 con in OPR as like training wheels, right? It allows me, like, if I can survive on 150 con, well then 250 con, I'm going to feel like fucking Thanos out there in a war, right? So I always have to go through my shit and my build before every war because I usually have my OPR builds on. I suggest you guys to look at it too. There's been so many times, guys, I can't tell you. There's been so many times that people have DM'd me or something after a war, or I find out in a VOD that somebody forgot to click submit on their attributes. So they were missing 250 points somewhere, or somebody forgot to respec, or somebody was running 100 con as a point tank. We won't name names, right? That's so many incidents that could be simply avoided by just taking 1 minute. There's 15 minutes in pre-war. Take 1 minute to pop your consumes, take your gear off, and check your attributes and build. And that's it. 1 minute. That's all it takes. Then you can yap all you want with your friends in your team speak. Okay. We talked about cleanse pots, why they're a must-have. Haste pots, you can have a couple throughout the war. Haste pots are used for rotating groups between B and C. So if you're a flex group or rotate group and you're supposed to bounce back and forth, you might want a haste pot in the back pocket. Or if you if you're coming off a respawn and you got to get to C point, it's ticking like 40% and going upwards, you got to get there fast. Pop a haste pot, get out there, right? That's something too. So always having like 2 haste pots when you have all these tokens is good to have in the back pocket. All healers, last and foremost before we send to Toofs, all healers need to be crowned. Why is this? They need to adjust their groups. Healer keybinds are set up very specifically. For me, my keybinds, I need to make sure that I am the number 1 slot in my group because I don't have a number 1 heal keybind. So if there's a melee in that first slot, they're not getting healed the whole war, right? So I need to be in that first slot because my self-cast is control, and then my second cast is up on the wheel, my third cast is down, my fourth cast is side button, my fifth cast is side button. So all healers need crown, not just to adjust their groups, but then there's emergency DCs, right? So somebody DCs, they could just open up the war, remove somebody from the roster, that way they don't get bugged and they can get redragged bin. So everybody needs, all the healers in every group, there should be 11 crowns in an army. Your caller, any of the leadership players, and your 10 group healers. They all need crowned. So make sure you trust your group healers so they don't throw your war and kick everybody from the war. Okay? And with all that being said, I'm going to take a break real quick. I'm going to pull up on my stream Toof's little example here. Now, we talked about, right, you could be Hawks real quick just to go over this one more second. You could be Hawks in his ticket and do it the old-fashioned way with one document, all of your gear neatly put in here, right? Or we're going to tap into Toofs right now and see how he does things with his thing. Toofs, floor is yours, baby.
Yo. Okay, so yeah, there's two ways that you can do it. It's either the standard screenshot way. So we have this example, even included like a nice picture of their character and all that. But this is one way to do it. The other way is NewWorldBuddy.de gear sets. I'll put it in chat really quick. And this allows you to save all of your builds. So I have all sorts of examples for disruptors and bows. And you can go into it and you can build out your trees. You can see like how much damage you're going to do. You can swap between your weapons and see damage that way. Go into your attributes, set all of that up, set magnify. And then you can go in and like individually like search pieces of gear and build that out. It's good for like testing builds. So you can put like a shopping list together of like things you want to do. Set up everything there, heart rune, all that. You can go into here, set up your buffs, so that will apply into your con. So I'm running the rabbit food and it's being set up there. And that's pretty much it for that. And I'll just show you like with a brand new set. So you just go in, pick new item, pick whatever you want.
And every item in the database is here.
Every single one of them, yeah.
Holy smokes, guys.
And so if you want to search like featherweight, you can find that. Usually artifacts are at the top. Boom, go into there. You choose whatever attribute you like want in the final one. And then you can go into gems and it'll have all of your gems here. And then you can get into like the rune glass, set all that up. Yeah, super easy, convenient. And then if you want to, let's say like modify one, let's say instead of like thrust conditioning, I want slash conditioning. Set that up, and then you can go here and click share and create permanent link. And then anytime you copy this and send it to someone, it will forever be there and you can permanently send it to people, with the exception being like if you want to change something, you just got to click share again, and then it will update all of the links across the board.
Holy smokes.
Otherwise it will like snapshot the original gear set. But because I swapped it to slash conditioning and click share, anywhere that this link is at like will be updated. But that's pretty much it. Super convenient.
Show us how to switch gear sets again.
So you just go to gear sets.
Bang.
And you can just swap between them.
And then how about skill trees?
Skill tree.
Oh, it's in the
right
gear
up.
set. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's literally right up here. So you just swap.
Holy
between
smokes. And then a question in the chat. Is this free or do you need a premium?
Nope. All free.
There you go. So back in our day, we didn't have this, right? And we had to do all of the paint and copy and paste and all this shit. Here you go. You just go to a website. If you think that's too much work, go to the website, plug and play. It might take you 30 minutes of setting shit up. And look, he even has like his buffs, like his pots that he runs, like everything. So yeah. Anything else, Toofs?
If you want to get fancy, you could have it create a screenshot of like the whole gear set, but it's a little buggy sometimes, so I always just do the link. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Huge. Thank you for
Super
that,
easy,
Toofs.
super convenient.
Awesome. We're going to be hearing from Toofs a little bit later about like Kill Squad and Quad DPS stuff and all that stuff. But that's like huge, huge information right there. Awesome. Cool stuff. So that's another way to do things, guys, right? If you want something a little bit more convenient, New World Buddy has all the information there. All good, ready to go for you. Okay. Cool. So that's your war prep, guys. The war prep segment is done. Remember, like I said, you have to do these things. If you are interested in getting into war and you've never done these things, just don't bother. Stick to the OPRs, stick to the 3v3, stick to invasions, stick to mutations, stick to chest runs. It's just going to cause drama for you, right? You saying, I want a war, but I'm not willing to do this. And everyone else is just going to tell you to, you know, go jump or something, right? So be willing to do these things if you want to get into war. And if you're not willing to put in this amount of effort, don't worry about it, right? You don't have to experience war to enjoy New World. I've done like a few real wars since I came back to the game, and I'm just having a blast, like jumping into clumps with Beefy and, you know, whoever else is there with me, like OPRing and seeing how long we could stay up 3v15. And it's just super fun, right? So you don't have to play War to enjoy the game. But if you want to War, these are some of the steps that you're going to have to take to be able to do that. Okay, so cool. That's your War Prep segment. We've done introduction. We've done War Prep. We are moving on to War terminology, folks. War terminology. We have 2 hours left to be able to share these things. Okay, War terminology. So what do these things mean? I'm going to take a quick second and just thank some people. Renji subbed up. Thank you. Young Trendsetter with the follow. Thank you. Persian God with the redeem. He's over there just, you know, sleeping like a nice little boy. I don't want to interrupt him with any key words that I can say right now, but I'll make sure to get that redeem when he wakes up from his nap. Okay. But yeah, guys, thanks. Welcome in. Cool. So War terminology. What do these things mean? Demonstration at the fort. All right. So we got to load up some New World real quick. Got to load up New World. Give me 1 second. I got to change account so I can get on Hudson Land. And basically for this segment, we're going to talk about positions in war and what certain calls sound like, especially from me, right? Areas of war, we're going to talk about what each area means and actually show you guys what these areas mean. Not just do those things, but show you guys what these things mean, right? Ignore the name. I didn't make this. I feel like Tufer or Rue or somebody made this name. Please don't judge me. I'm not a femboy pocket. I am not that. So yeah, we're going to hit play real quick. Play. We're going to open up the game, right? Open up the game. Beautiful. So we're going to be talking about some of the different things that are going on, areas of the war, fort, what certain keywords in fort mean, the crash process. What is crashing? What does it mean? What are the calls you're going to hear during the crash process? What does play life mean? What does getting plussed mean? What is a regroup reset process? And what are respawns and why they are important? So we're going to be doing all of that stuff. All of that stuff. We just got to get into the fort. Okay, and sorry I was not prepared. I thought I had my game open and I was ready to rock and I was at a fort. But we're going to have to run out there. So for now, take 2 minutes, y'all. Stand up, stretch, take a breather, take a sip of water, let your dog go do something, whatever, while I get to a fort to be able to show you guys what I'm talking about and do this. All right, so we had a gifted sub redeemed from Happy, if anybody got him with a sub, and a gifted sub redeemed from Yo Left Nut. If nobody gets you tonight, you two, remind me and I'll get you tomorrow. Okay. I don't want your channel points to go away. So if nobody gets you two tonight, remind me, I will get you tomorrow. Essica, thanks for that gifted sub to Mizu. I appreciate it. There's respawns on defense in fort. Well, right now there's not. They're broken, but yes. Langerous. It is a loading screen. Diana with the 5 gifters. That's huge. Thank you, Diana. Hope your Thanksgiving holiday has been great. Awesome. So we're spawned in. We are going to go to a nice classic Windsward, folks. We're going to go to Windsward, okay? Or you know what? Better yet. Yeah, Windsward's a short walk. We'll go to Windsward just for time's sake, okay? Now, keep in mind, guys. Thank you, Beefy, for gifting the Happy. Thank you, bro. That's one gifted sub off the chart. Thank you for the 5. Thank you, Beefy. Now, keep in mind, guys, really quick to talk about, each map in New World brings different things to it, right? So while the Restless Shores and the Windsward and the Ebon Scale and the Cutlass Keys and the Monarchs and the Brightwood and the Weavers, all these look the same, right? Everfall, Reekwater, Morningdale, Eden Grove, and Brimstone have different features to them, right? They have different features to their forts, right? So in Morningdale, you have the dreaded A point with the river that we talked about in last night's stream. In Everfall, the whole map is just fucked. A, B, and C point. There's a giant rock wall on A. There's dog shit downward hill through trees and forest at C. There's B, has like an upward hill leading up to it. It's just pure misery, right? So that's Everfall, right? In Eden Grove, you have this giant rock wall that's like making the wide fight miserable on C point. On A point, it's like a cliff that drops off. In Brimstone, you have like another cliff drop off that ends for C. So While most of the maps are all pretty carbon copies of each other, like Ebon and Monarchs and CK and Windsward and Weavers and Restless and Brightwood, there are a few maps that have a little bit diversity and a little bit difference to them. So we're gonna walk through real quick what a walkthrough looks like and what this goes. Beefy, thanks for hooking up with the 2 with the gifted subs. Thank you. Happy and Yo Left Nut. Thank Beefy and thanks for the 5 gifted. So we're here at the fort. Let's keep going, okay? I'm going to pull this to the other monitor so I can read off my notes. And we're going to talk about things. So, war terminology and a war demonstration, okay? So, here's your B point, right? We're at B point here, okay? Here's different positions in the war and what certain calls sound like. So, some of you in the chat already know what most of these things are. So, just bear with me till we get to the later portion of it. Some of you never heard of these words in your lives, right? So, let's get into it. Areas of war. This right here, you see this burning thing of sticks that looks like a bonfire, right? There are one of these at every point, right? This is called bonfire, also known as bon, B-O-N, bonbon, right? Also known as bonfire, okay? Now, if you were to hear opposite bonfire or oppo bon, what would that mean? Well, that would mean the opposite side of where the bonfire is. So there's the bonfire. This is your oppo bon side. All of this, everything that I'm running in right now is oppo bon, okay? Awesome. So that's the first step. Now you have their road and our road. So we're going to talk about all this from the attacker POV. So everything I'm saying, imagine you're on the attacking side, not the defender side, so you don't get confused, okay? And if you need to, just kind of flip it 360 or 180, and then you can see it from the other side. But this is what we're called, where I am right now, this whole area right here, this is called our road. We're the attackers. This is our road. Our road right here. Our road's right here, okay? This is the point. We're coming into the point. Remember bonfire over here. Remember opposite bonfire over here. This right here is called their road. This is the enemy's road. This is their road, right? So when you hear their road, this is what we're talking about. When we're hearing our road, we're talking about where my orb just landed back here, okay? And this is the same for every single point. The only point that this will differ at is Morningdale A point, and that's for a future war class, because if you can't understand this, you're certainly not going to understand my cook for A point on Morningdale, okay? And we'll talk about that in the future of rotating the point 90 degrees and how to attack the point from a strategical advantage of Morningdale, right? But that's another time, another day. So we did Bon, Oppo, their road, our road. Now we're talking about inner lane. So inner lane, I'm going to go to the last point. So in wars, A point is over there, B point is here, and C point is here, right? Typically, A point is the thrown point unless there's some sort of environmental advantage to it. Then people will throw it. B point and C point are the 2 points that people usually fight over. And for newer companies, never try to 3-point hold. You're stupid, you're naive to do that. The map is so far stretched out that a decent attack caller can maneuver his chess pieces to always get a point, right? So you always look at 1 point as the free point, and then the other 2 points are going to be the points that you're warring over and you're actually fighting, okay? So that's typically how this goes. So with that being said, here we go again. Our road, their road. Bonfire is now on a different side, but it's still called bonfire. That hasn't changed, right? Bonfire is right here, and now your Oppo Bon is going to be over here. So just flip sides, but it's still the same concept, right? Now your Oppo Bon is quite wide, and don't worry, you're going to get used to that term wide a lot. There's a lot to talk about the wide group, okay? But this is very wide, right? There's a lot of space to fight out here. There's some trees and annoying shit. So Oppo Bon, there's different lanes in the opposite bonfire, okay? There's 3 lanes. There's your inner lane, aka your group 8 lane. There's your 9 lane, which is quite literally called the 9 lane. There's no really term for it. I just call it group 9's lane. And then you have your group 10's lane, which is called the wide fight. Okay? So there's 3 fights to the opposite bonfire fight. 3 separate fights that can, merge into one another, but they are all still 3 separate fights. So right where I'm standing, this is the point, right? We're in bonfire. This is the point. This is our road. This is their road. I'm standing in inner lane. This is called inner lane. Group 8 should be fighting anywhere from where I'm standing all the way out to about right here. This whole square that I'm drawing is where group 8 is typically fighting. Now, once group 8 beats their group 8, that group 8 wants to look in. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about this. That's what Toofs is going to talk about later on in the segment. We're just here to talk about calls and a demonstration, right? So group 8 is going to be fighting right in this area, and Toofs will explain a little bit more about that and their roles and responsibilities later on. Then you have your group 9 fight. Group 9 is going to be right out here. This is like group 9's lane, and it can flex over towards inner, Or it could flex out a little bit wider. And this is a 5v5 with some quad DPS fighting each other. This is Group 9's lane. The wide fight. The wide fight's going to be all the way out here. They're their own island. They're their own 5v5. Quad DPS shouldn't really be matching out here. It's a 5v5 to see who gets to impact the opposite bonfire fight. If our 5v5 wins, then Group 9's lane gets crashed on by a 5-man from wide. If their 5 wins, then their 5 gets to crash on in the Group 9 lane and win. Does that make sense? Everything kind of plugs into the next thing. Okay? So you have your wide, your 9, and your 8 lane. Inner, 9, and wide. That's terminology for you guys, all right? Next up, you have ramparts. Ramparts are these things, these rocks with these fucking ramparts, right? With these things. With the stage and these rocks and these planks, right? These are ramparts. So you could say opposite bond ramparts. Bang. 3 words, everybody knows what you're talking about. Bond ramparts. 2 words, everybody knows what you're talking about. This is bond ramparts, okay? Or B bond ramparts. B oppo bond ramparts. C bond ramparts. C oppo bond ramparts. Everybody knows what you're talking about, right? That's what that is. Then you have the walls. Let's get to the walls, guys. Walls and gates. Here we are. We're at the walls now. Walls and gates, okay? Now we're going to go into the fort. We're going to explain a few keywords in the fort. Oh, my bad. I skipped one thing. I forgot to talk about the quads. Okay, the quads. There's one last thing about out here. So here's your C point. Here's your final point, right? You have a quad system. All wars are done in a quad system, right? So remember, we're attacking. This is your bot left quad. Bottom left. This is your top left quad. This is your top right quad. And this is your bottom right quad, okay? Toofs or Beefy or anybody in the chat, if you guys can remember where that quad diagram was, that would be huge to show. If you can find it anywhere laying around. If not, it's no big deal, but we can always circle back to that. Maybe just look around for it. But we used to have this quad diagram that showed you how each quad should be crashing and impacting the next quad, and I think that would be really useful for tonight. Optical. If Optical's around, if Optical's creeping in the chat, he's the one that made it. Maybe he's got it hanging around somewhere for us. But anyways, cool. So you have your bot left, your top right, your bot right, okay? Now there's things called, one more terminology, there's things called strong side and there's things called weak side. Now, if you were to guess what that means, weak side is where your less groups are and strong side is where your more groups are, right? So the strong side, you have 3 groups and quad DPS out here. This is strong side, this is opposite bonfire side, right? Your weak side is your bonfire. This is 1 group with some quad DPS fighting their own fight, okay? So somebody might say top right, or somebody might also say weak side. So weak side of the point is going to mean this, where I'm at right here. This is weak side of the point, right? Strong side of the point is going to mean this, the left side of the point. Okay, so those are some basic terminologies, okay? So we have Oppo, we have Bond, we have our road, we have their road, we have bot left, top left, strong side, we have inner lane, we have group 9 lane, we have wide fight, group 10 lane, we have group 7 fight, and we have weak side. This is weak side as well. Okay? So that's why it is. That's why it is. Now moving forward. We're going to get into the fort. So here's the fort. We get into walls. We got the horns down. Cool. Now we're into the fort and we're fighting fort. I must be flagged. You have got to be shitting me. Okay. Well, that's tough. Motherfuckers. Hang tight. Got to show the fort. There's specific things to talk about in the fort. And Rose, how about you explain? How about you explain what's strong side and weak side? How's that sound? Give me a second, guys. I'm just going to go to the shrine flag and run back and show you guys the fort. And hopefully I'm not griefed in that 8 seconds to show you the fort. Okay? But inside the fort, there's things called the dirt, shops, stage, stairs, horns, back gates, all those things, right? All those things. And we're going to show you exactly what they look like. Hang tight. Hang tight. Little breather, chat. Little breather. Perfect time for an ad break. Yeah, I don't quite think that's the reason why, Ann Rose, but we'll go with it. We'll fucking go with it. I don't think exactly... Yeah, I don't think that's exactly what it is, but we'll go with it. I like it. So, Here we are, blah, 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 blah. We're coming out of war camp. We've captured the points. Yagoo has a really good explanation to why it's called strong side, weak side, and there's actually like real factual information in it, but I don't remember it. I don't remember what. Sure, respawn oriented. I like it stops. It's weak because the respawns are flooding into the weak side, and it's strong because we're reinforcing the strong side. Let's just go with that, okay? Let's just go with that. Perfect. So we're moving on. Okay, we're moving on, guys. This is the fort, okay? Here's your point. Here's your bot left, your top left, your bot right, your top right of the point, okay? If you're on the defense side, don't let the hill trick you. It's still bot left, top right, bot right, if you're on the defense side, okay? So here are some of the key words that we talked about, and to just show you the positions in a war and what they're called, okay? This is called shops. Here's 2 shops here. This could be called A-gate shops or front right shops, okay? This back there is back right shops or E-gate shops. This back there is D-gate shops or back left shops. This right here is front left shops or C-gate shops, right? So everything has a call for that. That's shops. Stairs are going to be here. E and D-gate stairs, right? D, E-gate stairs. Right where I'm walking right now is hell. This is what hell's called, okay? Right here is hell. We're talking about hell. Guys, I want to crash in hell. I need to zerg through hell right now. This is hell that I'm running around, okay? This is hell. Okay? Back gates. Here's your back gates. Easy peasy. Okay? Above back gates. Oh, just look above the back gates. Okay? And dummies. So C-gate and A-side dummies are going to be right here. See the dummies right there in the fort? Those and those. Dummies. Okay? Heaven is going to be right there. I don't really ever call heaven. I don't use that terminology. I say above B-gate. Above B-gate is going to be right here or heaven or whatever. Okay, so above B-gate right here. All right? So that's your terminologies. That's it. Easy peasy. Now you guys know what Bon, Oppo, their road, our road, inner, group 9 lane, wide fight, bond fight, ramparts, walls, quads, strong side, weak side, dirt, shops, stage, stairs, horns, back gates, above B gate, dummies. Now you know every single possible war term. That's every possible war term. If you can think of another war term, let me know. If anybody else can think of a possible war term that I didn't cover, let me know and we can go over it. But I think we've covered every single possible war term there is. Okay? Cool. All right. So there you go. Next up, we're going to talk about respawns, why they're important. So respawn, you should have a lovely e-girl or lady or whatever whispering respawns in your ear. I mean, I guess it's not just to women. Maybe there's men that do it. I've never heard of a man doing it. Is there a man in New World that does respawns? Does anybody know? Is there like an e-boy that does respawns? I don't know. But for me, I have Mrs. Riot. She's been around for years for us, and she's the GOAT. She's my favorite respawn caller. Other people like Nelly. Other people love Lit. I love Lit too. She's fucking fantastic. There's a lot of different respawn callers in the game, and you'll find the one that you love, right? And for me, it's Mrs. Riot. She knows exactly what I want, when I want it, what information I need from her, and all that. Help your respawn callers. They're going to need a couple POVs streamed in the Discord. They're going to need that, okay? And if you get a nice, sexy, hot voice in the respawn caller, well, then your freak army of weird creature dudes get the e-girl buff, and they all perform better, right? It's just real shit. It's real shit, scientifically proven by science, okay? So, moving forward, respawns are very important because you want to crash after respawns, or if you're the defense, you don't want to crash after respawns, right? Defense doesn't want to get caught on a long respawn timer. Attack wants to catch the defense on a long respawn timer. So respawns are very important in that way. And also inside the fort, you get to pick what respawn you pick, right? I forgot to cover that while I'm in the fort, but I'm not going to walk back there. So on defense, you could spawn back right, front right, back left, front left, right? And you can pick. So, every army will do it differently. Maybe the right side of the fort is flooded, so they're going to call all respawns to the left side. Maybe all front shops are flooded and they're going to call all respawns to the backside. Maybe the caller wants you to spawn on your side of the fort, which we'll talk about in the raid plan, right? So there's a lot of different ways to do defensive respawns, and respawns are very important to listening to that respawn caller in the back of the head. You want them very low on their volume, but just high enough so you could still hear when the respawns are coming in, okay? So that's why respawns are important. What getting plussed means. So when somebody says, you know, you in a war, you might hear, hey, Oppo is +1 right now. So here's your Oppo, right? The Oppo fight is going on, even though that's the weak side fight. That's a bad example. Let's go over to C to show that, right? The Oppo fight, right? That left side fight, right? Toofs is in group 8, and he main comms to everybody and says, they're +2 Oppo right now. Well, what does that mean? What is they're +2 in Oppo right now? That means that they're sending 2 of their quad DPS to the opposite bonfire area to help this fight, right? So what that means is our quad DPS, I shouldn't even have to repeat it as a caller. Our quad DPS should recognize, okay, their duo DPS is in group 8's lane right now. We're going to rotate and we're going to fight that. Okay, as quad DPS, your main role is to match their quad DPS, beat their quad DPS, and then impact the other fights, right? So if you have a 2v2 of Stops and, you know, Stops and Coca are going up against Smirks and Hoodie, right? Smirks, Hoodie against Stops and Coca, right? And on the defense side, Toofs is on the attacker side. Toofs radios from group 8. Hey, they're +2, Smirks and Hoodie are in our lane. Stops and Coca should have the brain power to understand we have to rotate, match that, beat Smirks and Hoodie, and then we can help the group 8 fight retake their fight and win their fight because they're +2 bodies, right? The quad DPS always wants to match their quad DPS. If you keep their quad DPS in check, the rest of your group should be able to do their job. If you don't keep their quad DPS in check, then the other groups will easily win their fights, okay? So that's what's going on there with the plussing. If they say they're plussing 3 on Bonfire, that means that there are 3 quad DPS plussing right into this area and trying to make that fight overwhelm. So that's what plussing means, okay? Or you might also hear Group 8 say they're plussing a main ball group into Oppo, which would mean their top strong group, so their defense, we're looking at the defense POV right now, right? Their top strong group is actually out here as medium melees and VGs disrupting this fight, making it hard. Which should also, in turn, mean that our main ball on the attacking side is getting point tick because one of their full groups is out here. Does that make sense? Do you see how every decision and every action has a reaction in the game and what you can do as a caller to set your army up for success and what you can do in your group to be able to micro properly and match what their groups are doing, right? So you got to listen to the calls. You got to listen not just to the calls, but to the Toofs and to the Cocas and to the everybody else, like radioing in to the main comms, what's going on in these fights, right? Awesome. Really quick, playing life. What does playing life mean? It's very simple. Don't die. There's certain times in the war that you cannot die. You cannot die, right? There's like either a long respawn timer of 40 seconds and we call play life. If you die in the next 30 seconds, you're trolling. You want to only die in those last 10 seconds where you can catch that respawn right away. And if you're on defense right now with the game being broken, you don't even want to do that because you might not respawn for 2 fucking minutes and lose the war, right? So that's what play life means. The regroup reset process, I'm going to talk about. And then you could see it in the raid plan dialogue, right? So a regroup for attackers. Why is regrouping so important? Because instead of staggering, so here's how I regroup, right? We do the B fight. We come over to C. It's the last point. I regroup the whole army. Everybody that needs cleanse pots can go back to B and get their cleanse pots. Everybody else lines up in a nice fanned out line that I can show better in the diagram of the raid plan, which is coming up next, right? So you regroup on Bonfire, right? You're going to have one group here. You're going to have 2 groups here. Your strong side groups are going to be where I'm standing. Your group 8's going to be here. Your group 9's going to be here. Your group 10's going to be here, right? And it's going to be one long line, right, of everybody kind of spread out and doing the right things. There's going to be, your point team's going to be somewhere right here. And then there's going to be a group right here with your Bonfire group and some quad DPS. And everybody moves in properly. Why is a regroup important? It allows your army to buy cleanse. You're not beating them. If they have cleanse and you don't have cleanse, you're not beating them. So if the defense has cleanse pots and the attackers don't have cleanse pots, you're not winning the war. So you have to regroup, get your cleanse pots, right? Then it allows everybody as a full 50 to push into this fight and fight as a full 50. Instead of, so my advice to callers, just a little off topic, if you crash, right? You crash, you get no kills or 1 kill. They recrash, they catch 5 or 6 of you. That's just an auto regroup. You don't even think about it. We just immediately call the regroup, so we're done staggering, we're done doing this shit, and we're right into the regroup, getting our 50 back together. We fucked up the crash, it's okay, there's still 25 minutes of war left, no big deal. Instead of wasting time trying to stagger and trying to make something out of nothing, you just regroup, get everyone back together, and do it again, and win the crash the next time. So that's why regroups are really important. That's why the reset process is important. As soon as you hear a regroup, you don't want to die, or you make sure that you catch that next respawn right away, and then you don't die. And I'll explain that more in a raid plan, okay? So that right there, folks, the last thing that we're going to talk about war terminology before we get into the rosters and the raid plans and the war is the crash process, right? And this is probably the most important thing in the war to learn. Papa Big Bun, thanks for the sub, the prime out of your goddamn mind. I appreciate that. Can somebody time out Rug for 30 seconds? Thank you. All right, moving on. So, yeah, we do. Well, I just did that, Hunch. We literally just did that, but I'll do that on the raid plan so people can actually visualize where these groups are going. Why are you using Orb instead of Clap? Because this is my OPR build. No other reason. Okay? Essica said Spread and Zerg, and we're going to talk about the crash process, which goes into all of these things. Okay? So here's the crash process. Crashing is so important into the game, and if you lose the crash, you lose that segment of the war, right? Think of wars in segments, right? Your B segment, your split segment, your C segment, your transition segment into the fort, your fort segment, right? Think of it like chapters, right? You have to win each chapter of the war to get to the next chapter to eventually cap the point and win the war, right? So here's the crash process, how to set it up and what it is. So on a crash, you're going to hear specific terms. You're going to hear crash, spread, rehit, spread, and Zerg. Okay? Those are really important words to understand and what they mean and what they're doing. Okay? So, here we go. Me as a caller. All right. I'm going to give you like a little, this is like what war sounds like, okay? All right, groups 4 and 6. Right now, we're controlling Group 8 is controlling inner really well. Big Mac just calmed to me that Group 8 has 1 inner lane. Group 9's pushing up and taking space. Group 8 is now impacting this top left. What I want, guys, is we're going to start setting up a left side crash. I say this way faster. I'm just saying it slower to explain it, right? So you can understand. All right, we're going to set up a left side crash because callers don't just crash where the clumps are, which we'll have a caller class and get into it, but don't just crash where the clumps are. Crash where you have control. Right? Because if you crash where the clumps are, they just get to leave anywhere they want. If you crash where there's control, you're going to kill them, right? So if our group 8 has all of this controlled with the quad DPS and the group 9 has pressure up here and our Oppo's 1, why would you ever call a crash to top right? You wouldn't. You want to call a crash to left. Because what's going to happen is group 8 is going to be able to pick off all the people that are low HP coming off, and they get to box in with ice walls and other things around the point, right? Do I have an IG on me? I don't. That's okay. No big deal. I was going to show you what a proper ice wall looks like. So I'm basically calling the crash groups 4 and 6. You're our strong side group. Strong side groups, start getting ready. Start setting up for the crash. That means these groups are going to take angles on the point. They're not fighting inside out. They're fighting outside in. So when you hear it's time for a crash, you're fighting outside in. You're starting to box them in. Right? You're starting to move around them, so you're boxing them in to be stuck on the point, body blocked when the big detonates and the sparklies start flying with the vines, right? So, all right, strong side, we're going to start boxing in. Big Mac just calmed to us that Group 8 is 1. Group 8 has control of Oppo. Strong side, start boxing in, and then weak side, get ready for the rehit. Get ready to slam, okay? Here we go. We're going to be crashing. Bot left in 3, bot mid in 2, bot left in 1, mid left, mid left, mid left, because keep in mind the crashes are moving as I'm calling it, right? I want to give you guys a 3-second heads up, but I can't pinpoint exactly where the crash is because everyone's doing this on the point. Everyone's moving. So the crash area is going to stay the same, but the exact crash location is going to change as the countdown comes. So I'm giving my army a warning. Get ready, get set up, guys. Crash is coming in about 5. Get ready, get your debts, get your grabs, get ready. Okay, crash in 3, bottom left in 2, mid left in 1, mid left, top left, mid left, top left, mid left, top left, mid left, top left. That means we're dropping all debts. We're cleansing. We're doing vines, everything. We're right here in this area. We're killing them. All of the 1 HPers that are going to go, oh my God, I got to get out. They're going to get stuck right here by Big Mac's Group 8, and this whole left side is going to get wiped to the point, and you're going to win this, okay? So now the crash terminology. Crash, spread, rehit, spread, zerg. So this is what you're doing as attackers, right? And every army does this differently. This isn't the full default meta. This is what I teach Cosmic people. This isn't like every army, every caller is going to do this differently, right? But for me, I do crash. So we crash, right? We just crashed, we killed them. Now we're going to spread. Everyone's going to spread, right? Because when you crash, they're getting ready in the next 5 seconds to recrash your crash, right? That's what the defense does. The attacker forces the crash, the defense stays patient, and they wait for the recrash to send their crash, right? So we're crashing, we did the crash, we got some kills, great. Now what do we have to do after the crash? We have to respread. We have to spread. So everyone's going to scramble around this point in different directions. So they don't have a specific way to send it, right? If we all go bottom left, if we all crash top left, and then we all respread to bottom left, all they have to do is crash bottom left, and now we all die off the respread because we already used our cleanse pots and we've already used our consumes and our abilities on that crash, right? So now we're spreading. They're crashing. They're deading. We lose a player or two. Now we're going to rehit. What does the rehit mean? I'm going to look where they crash. So say we crashed here and they want to recrash to catch our spread, which is right here. So now they're crashing bottom right. I'm going to say let them crash, spread. Okay, rehit bottom right in 3, 2, 1. The rehit means anybody that didn't have their detonate yet, wants to throw their det yet, or anybody that was out of the fight that couldn't make it to that first crash is going to use their det there. Everybody else is going to use their abilities. So your shocks, your maelstroms, your gravwells, anything else that we can rehit an area with. Why? Because they're already out of their cleanse pots, their consumes and abilities and their debts. So now we're going to burn all of our shit on the rehit. Okay? So again, we crashed, we killed some, we spread on the point, we're spreading, and now we're rehitting their crash. Rehit, bang, we're crash, bang. We dropped our abilities. Now we're going to spread again. Why are we spreading again? Because they're going to rehit the rehit. So it's a crash, a recrash, a rehit of the rehit, right? So we rehit this. Now we have to spread because they're going to come in with their abilities and their extra debts and all that and rehit our rehit. Now we're going to spread after the rehit. After we got some kills, we're spreading. We're not giving them a chance. And now we're going to Zerg. And everything I explained happens in about a 10 to 12 second window altogether. So here we go. You ready? And a Zerg is where we all group up on one side of the point and just fight together and wipe their weak links that like got damaged during all that shit. So here we go. I'm going to break it down for you in real time. This is what it all sounds like, okay? Big Mac.
Hi, guys. My name is Big Mac. Group 8 has just won. We're looking in.
All right. Everybody, we heard that right now. I need our strong side quads getting set up. Weak side gets set up. We're going to be crashing inner. We're going to be crashing to the left side of the point. Strong side of the point. All right, the crash is coming in. Get ready. Take angles. IGs, I need your walls. I need everyone getting ready. Okay, we're crashing. Bot left in 3. Bot left in 2. Mid left in 1. Mid left, top left. Mid left, top left. Mid left, top left, right? Then I'm going to say, after that, okay, now we're spreading. Everybody spread. Okay, great. They're crashing bot right. Get ready. We're going to rehit bot right. 3, 2, 1. Rehit bot right. We're going to rehit bot right? Then we're going to spread. Everybody spread. We dropped our ability. Spread. They're rehiting bot left right now. Get ready, spread. We're going to Zerg to the left side in 3, 2, 1. Zerg left. And now we're Zerging left. And that's the crash process, folks. There we go. Give me a Grammy Award, right? Give me an Emmy. That's the crash process. Crash, spread, rehit, spread, Zerg. That's what Cosmic is doing. Other companies can do that, or other companies might rehit the rehit of the rehit of the rehit of the rehit, right? Other companies might not even rehit. So every company is going to do it differently. Every caller and every governor and every war council is going to have their own set of it. But that is the crash process. Feel free, don't all clap at once, okay? Don't all clap at once. So that's the crash. That's how it goes, everybody. All right. So that together is the war terminology fort demonstration, how a crash works, how specific calls in the war atmosphere is done, and we're through. We're done. Awesome. I'm going to exit out of New World now. Good shit, guys. Thanks for hanging with me. Let's get a time check. We have an hour and a half remaining to war, which is perfect timing. So let's pull this back up. Awesome. Thank you for the applause, guys. Thank you. We're done with war terminology fort demonstration. Beautiful. We're moving on to war roster comp. What is a proper composition and why? So I'm going to show you guys and leak you guys a composition. So if you're a newer company or maybe a company that's just tinkering with things, this was the meta for the last like year. Now it's been tweaked every now and then and things have been added here and there, but this is a good baseline to start at. For me on Hudson Land, I'm not doing the baseline meta. We're going to switch it up. I'm going to get with Hawks and Toofs and Hunch and Beefy and all the other guys, and we're going to come up with our own meta, which is this reshape the meta mock that I'm not going to leak or show you. But I have some really interesting ideas of how you can reshape groups and stuff. Show clip. Let's see. We'll do that at War. We'll do that to kick off the War segment. We'll do that unless there's a different clip. We'll do that to kick off the War segment. So this is War roster comp. What you guys have to understand when getting into this is the technical side of War, right? This is the shit that company leaders will spend 12, 16 hours a day on, goddamn near. Okay, this is why you have to sign up on time. Okay, it's very important to understand every single role in an army has a purpose. Okay, every single person, every single role, every single moment, they all have a purpose, right? You're not just there to nuke the point. Or maybe that is your purpose. You're not just there to pad. You're there for a reason. And keep in mind, chat, this is coming from like a competitive standpoint, right? When we're competing at the top level in the game, your heaters, your cosmics, your supples, your dropouts, your whatever it is, your dopamines, your you name it, right? Your F-ballers, whatever, right? You have to understand that competing at the highest level, why people murk. Why you don't always get slotted, right? It's because if one slot in the whole war, if you have one dead slot and they're not listening and doing their job properly at a tier 1, tier 2 level, the entire war can collapse that quickly, right? Especially in kill squads, right? If you have a dead slot in group 9 and your group 9 is just perma 4v5 because that dead slot has no idea what's going on and can't contribute at all, well, now your group 9 lost. And what does that mean? Now your group 8 loses too. And now what does that mean? Well, now your left side of the point is losing. Your opposite side of the point is losing. And now you can't win the war. You see how like one slot fucks everything, right? So a lot of you guys complain, why am I not slotted? What's the problem? While you're running fucking Rapier Ice Gauntlet, right? It's because if we put you in, you're going to make the group lose. The group is going to make the next group lose. The next group is going to make the whole army lose. And the whole army is going to make the war lose. Right? So you have to understand how every single slot in a war, there's a purpose to it and there's a reason why that's slotted there, right? At a high level, not kidding you, one dead slot costs you the war. Yes, it does. It's true. Okay? So here's the war roster comp. Let's bring it up. This is a normal composition. This is something that's being used for the last year in the game. This is something that there's been some tweaks like quad DPS being added and bow in group 2 and stuff, but this is your typical war composition, okay? So you have your group 1, which is, all group healers in war, by the way, just to get ahead of that, all group healers in war are going to run Sacred, DE, and Clap. There is no if, ands, room, there's nothing, right? If you're deciding, I want to run Light's Embrace, or I want to run Orb, or Beacon, or whatever the fuck else, you're just wrong and you should never war, okay? Every single healer should have Fortifying Sacred Ground and Purity of Light. You should be running Sacred Ground, Divine Embrace, and Clap. And refreshing Divine Embrace on their life staff, okay? That's what every healer should be doing, period, okay? You have your AoE healer. There's one AoE healer in every army, no less, no more. And that's going to be Sacred Orb and Beacon. They're going to have Mending Orb of Protection and things like that, okay? Then your group 1 is going to be a Great Axe Warhammer, SNS IG, and Flail IG. Your tank and your Flail are heavy, and your Great Axe Warhammers are medium, okay? Your Flail IG, now this slot is room for interpretation. It could be a Flail if you want 2 Flails on point, especially if your Caller is running Flail. You probably want a second Flail because of Caller Brain, right? A Caller doesn't perform well in war because they're so worried about 30 other things going on in the war than what they're doing in their buttons, right? So if your Caller is this Flail IG position, then you'll want another Flail IG. But say the Caller, whatever else, right? You can make this a VG IG slot. You could do different things with it. Now, remember what I was saying, quad DPS, right, guys? That's the 5th slot in groups 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's your quad DPS slots. You have a +2 and you have a +3. For your quad DPS, you always want one melee quad DPS on each side of the quad DPSs. So you're going to have quad DPS in Oppo, and you're going to have quad DPS in Bonfire, right? The quad DPS are going to be medium, and Toofs, are you there? Can you just very briefly, what is a medium quad DPS's job and role in the army? Like, what are these Group 5 and Group 6 guys doing?
You're going to be looking to match the enemy quad DPS, plus like the corresponding fights going on, help them hard win, and then start looking in or towards healers depending on point tick. But your ultimate goal is to start a snowball.
Awesome. Start a snowball, or if that snowball started, remember the crash that we talked about, all those like quarter HP targets coming off the point, the quad DPS can just jump on and kill in like 1 second, right? Because they do a lot of DPS and they're just slamming somebody that's already burned everything to get out of every situation. Okay. So that's the quad DPS's role, right? And where you want your melee quad DPS on your top sides. So top weak quad, top strong quad. That's that Group 5 and 6, those top sides, right? You want them up there because the healer, that group is going to be playing top side. The quad DPSs are more than likely going to be playing mid to top to their road, right? Mid to top to their road. So to get claps, splash of lights, or heals, they're going to want to be up in those groups, right? Then you put your range players who are more so standing behind the melee quad DPS. They're going to be a little bit behind. They're going to be in the bottom groups so they have enough range to catch the clap of the Group 3 and 4 groups of the bottom groups. Okay, so that's why you want to set that up, right? If you put the range in the top group and you put the melee in the bottom group, well, they're not getting each other's claps or their heals, right? Because those groups are playing in different areas, if that makes sense. So you want to do that. Now, quad DPS is also room for interpretation. You could do different things with it. Here in this group 2, bow or fire staff is fine. You could also just get rid of this and have an extra point player. You could do a 2-2 split if you really wanted to. Okay. I think now in New World is actually one of the only times in the game for at least the last year and a half where I think new metas can evolve, but the tier 1, tier 2, whatever, tier 3 war scene, it's like they just want to stay in the same fucking spot and don't want to create new metas or anything. I think now is the time to actually bring new metas out, but we could talk about that in another stream, right? So then here's your quad groups. 3, 4, 5, 6 are your quad groups. You have your traditional healer, you have your 2 melees, your Great Axe Warhammer medium builds, and you have your medium or heavy VG-IG. Probably heavy, but I think some people are playing medium and trying to get away with that. Okay. So yeah, this is what a composition looks like. And then you have your 7, 8, 9, right, and all that, and what's going on there. Okay. Toofs, can you talk about like 7 and 9, how they have 3 disruptors and what each disruptor's job is to do in that? Toofs, you here? You might be muted. Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
Cool,
Do you
yeah.
want me to go over like a basic like kill squad macro for everything really quick?
Yeah, just super simple. We're going to go through like a 1 minute on each 7, 8, 9, 10 and like what each person's job is in that group.
Okay, 1 sec.
Stu's going to pull that up and he's going to explain like the spear hatchet in group 7 should be doing this, should be attacking this person, right? And he has a little diagram for this. So we're going to pull this up and we're going to turn it over to Toofs as to what the kill squad should be doing.
Am I live?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Cool. So this is generally what all of your kill squads are going to look like, with your quad DPS on the weak side, quad DPS on the strong side. It'll consist of generally a melee and a ranged, or 2 range and a melee. Most of the time, you're just going to slot what you have in your army, whoever's the best. Just slot what you have, honestly. General kill squad layout is going to consist for like group 7, 3 melees, a healer, and a fire staff. This is the only fire staff in the army that's going to be running rapier for survivability. There is a case where you could be running abyss if that fire staff is absolutely goated. Every single group, with the exception of group 8, is going to have what's called a sender. Previously, it was done with Scorpion, and it allowed you to just completely CC chain the healer and just make their lives miserable. With Hatchet becoming so prominent, I think we're going to be seeing more Great Axe SNS, but it's really going to come down to who's in your army, what can they play. Then you have a great sword and like a medium spear or heavy spear, and what's generally going to happen is you man mark someone like the fire staff or the other greatsword, and then as like the play arises, you'll all jump on the same person, dog them down, or your sender will call out that the healer can die, or that the healer is completely locked down, and then you could look to make a play. But while that healer is free casting, there's basically not much you can do because healers are fucking broken in this game. The group 8, you don't run a sender, but instead you run a VG. This is pretty much your glorified point group. They're gonna take space and then look to plus the crashes. I have a whole little diagram set up on like what a winning position would look like for every single group as well, if you want me to go over that, Apples.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Group 9, instead of a mage, you're running a bow. It just allows you to like help more fights. But other than that, it's basically the same shit as all the other groups. And then your wide fight is ran with 2 bows, a sender, and a greatsword. Most of the bows are going to be like dueling for a little bit until a play arises or something's called out, and then they'll look to swap to a prio target. Same as before in any group with a sender. Once your sender calls out that the healer can die or that they're completely locked down, that's when a play can be like actually made.
Beautiful. So in short, you want everybody to match up with somebody in the other group. You're not ignoring things. Like each person in the group has a specific job and role, right? Like Vike has to be doing something. Toos has to be doing something. The sender is focusing the healer, right? The DPS is matching the DPS, right? You always want to match so that way you win the fight. And then you can kind of impact it from there. And like Toof said, when the sender sends it on a healer and he's saying like healer no stam, healer already stone formed, healer used flesh or busted out their hatchet already, and whatever else, right? They're gonna call out those things, and that's when the rest of the group can either collapse on the healer and kill the healer so that we can win the fight, or zone the healer out so they can win the fight, other things like that. So great explanation from Toos, and then Toos show us this diagram.
So hold on, let me get into. So point tick is going to be dictating like your general position. Let me doodle on something real quick. So while point tick is in all of this zone, you can be playing pretty far from point. This is going to be like speaking from attacker's POV from group 7 last point. So you're playing in like this number 1 lane, you're controlling ramparts, maybe dropping like below sometimes, but you're really trying to push up to take this space. As it approaches like 60% to like 80, 90%, you can start looking in a little bit, and you're playing in this number 2 lane. And you can look to take more space road. The reason why you're playing like a little bit closer is because you can then react to like if there's a crash here, you can look to answer that. As well as like if they start taking position on ramparts, you can answer that. But this just allows you to have like better decision making. And then as it approaches that 80 to 90%, you're playing in this 3rd lane and you're playing much closer to point. You're keeping people off of point. You're dogging low targets coming off of point. You're just trying to be as annoying as possible and generate point tick when possible. So if like this entire area is clear, you can look to step. If an all-in call's happening, then your fire staff and healer can look to find like free spots to step, while everyone else is just being a menace and keeping people on or keeping people off. And the same thing goes for all of your other positions. Like your point tick is always going to dictate your positioning. And then just really quickly, a winning position for all of your kill squad groups is going to look something like this. So you have group 10. Once they win their fight, they're going to be taking spot on ramparts. Group 9 is going to be pushed up to here. Group 8 is going to be pushed up. And then group 7 kind of has to do this weird dance as respawns are coming in. But you're going to be basically playing their road. What this is going to cause is their entire like healer
pocket
is forced into a pocket. Yeah, healer pocket right here. And then every like group 10 can look to apply pressure into there. All the range can look there. Group 8, you can have like 1 or 2 people set up here while everyone else is looking to help out on point, and then everyone can look in during crashes. But this is generally what your winning position looks like once you win your fights.
Yeah, and just looking at this diagram without changing it, in that Dread Moppers fight that we were talking about, Dread was in this winning position the entire time. Like everything you see that on Tooth's screen, they had all of this. Their only problem was their 9 and 10 were just sitting on ramparts up here the whole time, while their 8 was not close enough to the point. And there was like, remember what Tooth and I said at the beginning. How are you going to help the army generate point tick? That's how you win the war. And by having 2 groups sitting up on ramparts for half the war, just fighting and skirmishing, that's doing nothing. But group 9 maybe leaking a little bit more into their road, maybe leaking a little bit down towards point. That's how you're going to help the fight generate point tick. And then there was actually a quick question while looking at that diagram. We're gonna answer the questions at the end of the thing, but this is actually a good question. Why not just play in the lane number 2 on Bonfire? Why not just play lane number 2 until 90%? Why are you taking it wider? Why are you stretching that fight? Like, why are you going up to ramparts?
So generally, whoever has control of this part of the ramparts is going to have like the most winning position. So it's not necessarily like you're playing far away, you're fighting for control of like this rampart space. And that allows a free spot for your healer and your caster to play from. So you're fighting for this wide positioning so that they can play for free, and then the rest of your group can get active.
Correct. And if you don't take that positioning, what Big Mac says is if you don't take this at that wide, then they just get to wrap. If you can like show like they just get to wrap in behind you, and now they're in your area and impacting the fight, like the defense, right? So you need to take it a little bit wider so they can't go even more wider and go around you, which is why the group 10 lane on the left side is called the wide fight, because these 2 groups are basically seeing what's the limit and how wide we can go and who's going to wrap who, right? So that's why you take it as wide as you can so that group can't get that space to get around and then impact the fight from our road or from behind the army, right? So there you go. That's it. Anything else here, Tubes?
You can go into fort a little bit if you want.
Sure.
So this is my super awesome fort drawing.
It's beautiful.
The most common strat is, I'll speak mostly about back gates because all the other ones is like you kind of just try to push through if you can. It's going to be mostly these gates. There might be a world where you send quad DPS through B, but most commonly quad DPS is to be going through the side gate. Group 10 would be over here, and then the rest of the kill squads are out back. The most common thing is you're holding at these stairs. So you'll have a little skirmish right here. The most important thing is you recognize like when you're being plussed, and if the quad DPS is back here so that you can call your quad DPS, or they can wrap up whatever they're trying to do and then come back to you. But the most important thing is like groups, like I'd say most importantly is group 7 is like recognizing when you're being plussed and being able to call your quad DPS over or just play more passively. But that goes for all the kill squads. It's just recognizing when you actually have your numbers advantage or neutral. But you'll start back here, try and push in. I like to try to pull the fight to the gate if possible, or if you can have someone's siege equipment set up and then you can get up into here. I won't go too far into like the macro of what's going on here. We'll go over that in an actual kill squad demo. But same thing as outside. Point tick is going to dictate positioning. Once you win your fight, I think you should try to push in and try to get like sacreds in these areas.
Absolutely.
It's going to allow you to have a very like winning position to where like they have to come down here and deal with you. As well as anyone that's like declumping off of point, they have a sacred that they can run away to and have a safe spot to play in. And then this allows you to control stairs. You can look towards point and be able to plus point or dog people as needed.
Flood hell.
You can help out hell. You can look at stage and see if there's free casters up there, if there's like healers up here. Generally, you can send 1, maybe 2 people, and it will just force every single person up here to go somewhere else.
Healers scatter like rats. Nobody wants to, like free casting fire staffs and healers are going to scatter like rats. You throw 2 disruptors towards them, they're all just going to panic and run, and now your stage is clear without committing 2 groups to it.
Yep. But that's the really super basic intro to Kill Squad.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, truly average player, great question. And again, I'm trying to hold questions till the end, but it's a great question. You want them off the point because keep in mind, you have 6 other healers. Like, this is just the kill squad healers, right? 7, 8, 9, 10 that he's dictating right here. You have 6 other healers and the AoE healer that's riddling that point. Bot left, top right, bot right, in the middle. Like, they're dropping sacreds all over the place, right? So the kill squad sacreds, after they've won their fight, are more so going off the point because, like Tooth said, when a crash comes in, people are scattering, right? And you're not going to have a sacred off the point because those groups 1 through 6 are all right in those green circles, right? So you want sacreds off the point so that these players that are like quarter HP, half HP, getting out of crashes can regroup themselves slightly off the point, get their heals, catch a DE that brings them all the way up to full in a sacred, and then they can jump right back into the fight. So you want to spread out the sacreds. If we have 8, 9, 10 sacreds on the point, well, 5 of those sacreds aren't going to be used.
They're all just there.
They're all just there, right? And that's another thing, which again, this is more intense driven macro and micro in the point groups, right? How you have an AoE healer and 2 point healers. Those healers need to be communicating each other, because you don't want group 1's healer to put the sacred on the tank, right? And then the clump forms on the tank, and then the AoE healers overriding that sacred because their focus is higher on the tank. Now you have 1 sacred for 2, and then the other point healer throws it on the clump as well. And now you have 3 sacreds with only 1 ticking in the same exact spot. These point healers, because there's 3 of them on the point team, you need to spread that shit out, and you need to make sure that the point team has different areas that they can escape to, right? Like, all right, the AoE healer, I'm going to put mine on the clump. Whatever clump is forming, that's my job, the AoE healer. I'm going to clump it because I get the most heals. Then it's going to be like the group 1 healer. Okay, you're going to focus on the clump. I'm going to put mine like behind the tank. So that way when the tank is backing up, boom, they have a sacred to get into. And then the group 2 healer is like, all right, I'm going to put mine slightly off to the side so you guys can escape to that. And all these healers are pinging their sacred so everybody can see where they can get to at what time, and it's proper sacred. But that's just like, that's a little bit more advanced than what we're talking about here. We're just talking about the basics. So good shit. Awesome, Tooth. Thank you for the demo here. That was great. We're going to get back into the little document. Beautiful. So here's your composition, right? Tooth's explained what each role in each kill squad and why it's there and what they should be doing. Everybody has a specific job, especially in 7, 9, and 10. In group 8, it's just like Tooth said, like an extra point group kind of that's stepping off the point and controlling space. They're there to fight as a group, right? Whereas group 7, 9, and 10, Group 10's fighting as a group 2, yes, but everybody is matched up on everybody differently, especially in 7 and 9. The medium is chasing this. The heavy is attacking this. The sender is going for the healer. The bow is focusing on this, on their DPS, right? You always want like specific roles and specific jobs because yes, there's a 5v5 fight, but there's also 1v1v1v1v1v1 inside the 5v5 fight. And then the quad DPS add into that. And it's just like, there's a lot. So W for Tooth for his diagram, guys. Awesome job. Good shit. This is a war comp. Feel free to screenshot this. I'm going to leave it up on the screen for another minute. Some of you guys here, here, guys, right now, I'll get rid of my camera and my goal. I'll give you 15 seconds to screenshot this if you would like. Feel free to use this war composition in your wars. It's going to greatly help you. If you don't know where to start with a war composition, army leaders and company leaders, this is a great start. This is the baseline of war, and then you can tinker it from there. Then you could be like, I prefer an extra point player, actually, because our kill squads are winning. So I'm going to get rid of this slot right here. Or, I think that, maybe we can redevelop the meta by, getting rid of the fire staffs in this group, or whatever it may be, right? And one more thing about the fire staffs, don't look at the point. The only time a fire staff should look at the point is when a crash call is coming in. And then you could drop your meteor, then you could drop your pillar, whatever the fuck you're running, your fireball, whatever it may be, right? You could drop that on point during crash calls only, or like 90, 95% ticks, you want to slam the point in the clumps, right? Otherwise, these fire staffs, you're dueling people. You're out there just taking fucking fights, big dick fights, right? This fire staff, rapier, abyss, whatever you want to go here, you're dueling. This group 8, you're dueling their group 8 and their quad DPS, right? They all have roles and you can't pad the point. No bows are ever sending rain of arrows to the point, right? You're dueling, you're taking fights, all that stuff. So all this stuff, right? I mean, that's a fair point, Perkies, for sure, but you should fit the comp, right? Comp only works if you have a real army at a higher level. But if you can at least fit the comp and work the comp, you're going to have a better balanced play. Here's an example for you, Perkies. I'll explain this. I just slotted the worst Cosmic roster I have ever slotted of all time. And no disrespect to any name on this list. This is the roster right here. You're looking at it. Zero disrespect to anybody on this list. No disrespect. Not talking shit to anybody. I love all these guys. I'm thankful for these mercs, blah, blah, blah. But this is by far the worst roster that I have ever put together in this game. Ever. It's the worst roster ever. Right here. Right? So, just to give you an example, we were 49v50 in a dog shit comp. Look at these. Look at the comp difference, right? Look at this. 3 bows. Look at this. 2 bows. Look at this. 2 fire staffs. Look at this. Triple melee, no VG. Right? It's dog shit. This is atrocious. This is disgusting. Right? Disgusting. So what I'm saying by this is we beat the piss out of this other company, right? We won in 5 minutes, Morningdale. One of the toughest places to attack, Morningdale River. And we won in 5 minutes with this roster. The comp is scuffed. Everything is scuffed, right? So if you just come out with a strong game plan, you're going to be able to win some wars, right? It's all about the preparation into the war. You don't necessarily have to match the comp, but in a competitive war, there's a purpose to it all. There's a reason why we're doing these things because it has different impacts and we can actually talk about these things. Okay? So yeah, there we go. That's the composition, war comp. I'm going to give you guys like 10 more seconds, right? Let me turn off my webcam. 10 seconds. Screenshot this if you want it. Use it. Don't use it. Pick it apart. Do whatever you want. But this is my gift to you, a hand-gifted war composition. This is what Cosmics ran for like the last year. Things have been tinkered with. Things get changed slightly, but this is the general synopsis of what's going on. Go ahead and clip it. And I'm going to come back now in 5 seconds. All right. There you go. And if you need this, just DM me and I'll hook you up with it. Okay? Awesome. So we're done with that. That is the war roster composition and why and all that stuff. Enjoy it. We're on to the war raid plan. We only have 2 more segments and then we're opening up questions. And then I have a war in actually an hour. So 2 more segments, questions, and then you guys get to see me war. So it's a cool night. This is a good night of content. Great Saturday night. Can I just get like a vibe check real quick? We're 2 hours of me and Toofs just going and going and going. Who's still alive? Who hasn't muted the stream? Who can hear this? Can we get a Cosmic Scales, W, a fucking I'm horny, a 1, anything? Are we still alive? We got Smash. Oh, shit. Here we go. Smash, Atlas, Cheeser, Toofs, Big Mac, Phil, Beefy, Locktar, Joey, Young Home, Plum, Plumas, Persian God, Pat Wap, Joey Novas, Horny, Sesky, Mistaken, BBL Isaiah, CC Roar. We got the Bear in the house, Dalche. We got Big Mac, Enda Green. Look at all the gamers, guys. We're still locked in. Professor Apples, Professor Toos here. Got the tie, locked in. Love it. Seamless, Collapse, Cap, Soda Surfer, Sin, Toofs, Gino, Shadow Wolf, Essica, Septimus Prime, Obi-Wan Cannoli, Crimson Rain, Rupert, Kirsch, Alaskan Dude, Sieve, Damn It, Dustin, Pomps, Rem, Validus Miles, Darmery with the prime out of his goddamn mind for 2 months. Thank you. The Chad, Harambe Samba, Daniels, Munch, Anrose, Truly Average Player, Hunch, Edging. He's edging right now. Papa Big Gun, Isaiah. Look at all of them. C-Money Baller Dog. Here we go. Curvy Worvy. Good shit, guys. Good shit. Thanks for all being here. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for the subs. Darmery, thanks for the prime. This is awesome. I'm loving to do this. And again, we talked about these future segments, which we'll go over again at the end. We got a lot more classes and a tier list next weekend coming in. So if you don't want to deal with the ads, consider dropping a sub so you don't have to deal with fucking ads and you can just be here for all the wars and all the content and all the teachings and all the drama and everything, right? Pat Wap, thanks for the sub. All right, enough about me. Let's get back into it. So a war raid plan. Here we go. I'm about to put you all through a war prep. What is pre-war? What does that mean? We've all heard it. We've all been a part of it. But what does a proper pre-war look like, guys, right? That's what we're here to talk about. Just going to adjust my monitor for a second. Get a sip here. Coffee's great. Coffee is great. So, yeah, Big Mac, you could blame Toofs. We're going to be putting on your video. It's a nice short 2-minute video. But you could blame Toofs for that, okay? Cool. So here we go, raid plan. This is how it goes, right? You've done everything that you need to do. You've gotten your ticket prepared. You've gotten your consumes all slotted in your bars. You've popped your Honing Stone, your Desert Sunrise, your Mana Regen, your Attribute. Your OBS is on and recording your VOD, your TeamSpeak. You're in your group's microcoms and you're in the Discord main comms, right? To hear the pre-war. You're signing up in Discord and in game. You're doing all the shit, right? You have your gear check, your VODs posted in your ticket. Right? Everything. You've taken your gear off, you putting it back on to start the war. You've bought your cleanse pots and you've slotted them in the war, right? All that good stuff. All healers are crowned, right? Now we're ready for pre-war. So everyone should be in Discord at least. This is Cosmic's expectations, right? Or Parmigiana's expectations. Sorry. This isn't everybody's. Every company does it differently. The shit companies show up 7 minutes before the war starts. And, the pre-war is rushed and scuffed. Prep is everything to come to war, right? All this was prep, right? Your war rostering, your composition, understanding war terminology, right? Your war prep. All this is prep for the actual war, okay? So take a understanding of how much goes into this for us to play 30 minutes of the video game at a high level, right? Especially from a leadership end. You guys think that this is a lot to do to be ready for war? You will never, ever want to touch leadership in a company. Okay? Who in this chat has ever ran a company before and they've wanted to blow their brains out in the game as soon as possible because of how much fucking bullshit goes into running a goddamn company? Let's hear it. It's fucking miserable. Big Mac literally offed himself, offed his entire company because of it, right? Shit can be miserable. So I'm encouraging everybody in Cosmic. I don't give a fuck what Dread or Moppers or any of those guys do. Do whatever you need to do. But I'm encouraging everyone in Cosmic, make it as easy as possible for me and Hawks and Beefy and Tubes and Hunch to help you enjoy this awesome content that's in the game, right? We all complain about why is war locked? Why can't I get into it? Why isn't it accessible? Because you aren't willing to do the bare minimum and basics to get into war because leadership has 5 million fucking things to do to be able to get ready to war. Okay? Perkies. I don't want to get a fucking DM 4 minutes before the war starts. Yo, drag me into my group. I'm here. Fuck you. Be on time or DM a leader and don't give me some shit like, my next door neighbor is giving birth and I don't care. Be at the fucking war. You committed to something, and that's the biggest problem with this generation is commitment and accountability. There is none, right? It doesn't matter if it's a video game. If you can't handle signing up for a war, doing the prep that you need to do, and showing up 15 minutes before the war, I don't know how you brush your teeth. I don't know how you go to a doctor's appointment. I don't know how you reproduce. I don't know how you vote. I don't know how you hold a job. It's fucking crazy. We're not asking for rocket science here. We're asking you to just be a normal, accountable human being so we're not having to babysit 35 fucking people 15 minutes before the war starts. Okay? So make sure that you're on time, you're online in the game, or you've DM'd a console saying, hey, I'm running up the stairs to my apartment right now. I'm a little late. I'll be there as soon as I can. Right? So everyone's in Discord 15 minutes before the war when invites pop and you're online. You're online at least 2 minutes before those invites pop so the game recognizes that you're online and sends you an invite, okay? The pre-war for Cosmic will always begin 10 minutes prior to the war start. When I mean war start, I mean when the gates come down, not at invites. 15 minutes is when invites go out. 10 minutes is when we start our pre-war. I give you guys 5 minutes to get in your TeamSpeak, get in Discord, do all of your war prep, make sure your consumes are good, right? To do everything you need to do to be ready for war. That way at the 10-minute mark, we have 10 minutes of all being together as an army one time to go through the raid, to go through the strat, to answer any questions and do that shit, right? Now, granted, once you become a seasoned army and everyone knows their roles and shit and you've done 5,000 wars, the raid plan only changes on attack. Defense stays the same, which we're going to go through, and I have an attack and defense raid plan demonstration for you. But still, that doesn't mean that maybe the leadership's trying to do new things. Maybe the leadership is, whatever. We want to explain something specific to a group during the pre-war, okay? So make sure you're at pre-war, ready to go, 10 minutes before the war starts. At 10 minutes, we're going to start pre-war. We're going to pop consumes together. We're going to take off our gear. We're going to check builds, attributes, and gem split together. And then we're going to go through the raid plan. Here is a raid plan, okay? We're going to start with the defense because the defense is really easy. Okay, so this is a breakout defense. Crimson Rain, thanks for that prime, and thanks for that tier 1 sub, first timer. Welcome in. And Pat Wap, thanks for that gifted sub. I appreciate it. Darmery, thanks for the sub as well. This is a defense, okay? So what I'm asking here for is groups, groups 3 and 4. Is it 3 and 4? Yeah. Yeah, groups 3 and 4. These are our gate anchors. So at the start of the war, I ask, are 3 and 4, 3 is starting on the left side, 4 is starting on the right side. Those VGIGs, you are gate anchors. If you're, at least this is Cosmic. Every group's going to be different for every army, right? But for Cosmic, 3 and 4, VGs, you grab the repair part. So there's 2 players. One's going to grab left side, one's going to grab the right side. There are door repairs on the front side. Then Big Mac, Group 8 VG, is going to constantly check anytime he dies and he's running out, or if they get to fort, he's going to go check the repair parts before he gets back out there. So that inner lane VG is going to be down a VG a few extra seconds while he checks for repair parts. And also 3 and 4 VGs as the war goes on, you guys can grab throughout the war as well. We want repair parts in group 3, 4, and 8 VG's hands. Okay. Why the VG? Because they're the ones that are ice showering the gate. You need your melees there to fight, and they're the ones that can repair the gate. The melees can come flex to the point while the VG is getting up. Basically, hate to say it, Big Mac, but it's the least important part in the group, right? So you can expend the VG to repair the doors and get things happening and do OBJ stuff while the rest of the group is fighting, while the healer is pocketing the melees, right? So that's why you use the VGs. In the fort phase, groups 3, 4, and 8 are constantly checking for repair parts. So this is slide number 1. This is how we should be positioned coming out of the fort. Why are we positioned like this? Because this is where the positions will be coming out of the fort, right? Here is your default coming out. Right? You see how we had groups 3, 5, 7 on the left side and groups 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 on the right side. Why? Because it synergizes. Look at that. They just come out and they come right into their roles, right? So here's slide number 2. This is your default setup on defense. This should be every single army in the game. It should never change. There's a way to do defense and there's a way not to do defense. You could tinker with things. You could plus your quad DPS all on one side. You could do different things, sure. But for the most part, this is what's going on. So the group 7 and the +3 quad DPS will match to A. If these 8 people can't win this fight at A, they're going to give. Give if you can't live. We're giving if we can't living. Okay? That's pretty much that. So they're going to fight. They're going to contest. And what's going to happen is either they're going to be the better 8v8 and win. And if they do, then the enemy is going to bring groups over to A to help cap that, which is going to fuck up B and fuck up C. Keep it like the attackers, right? We're on the defense side right now, everybody. We're talking about the defense side. So if these guys win their fight, it's causing the attackers to have to match extra resources over to A to get the free point. And that's going to snowball B and C, if that makes sense. A numbers game, right? And if they can't win the fight, then it's simple. You just drop back to right here into your normal position and you're good to go. Okay. Group 10 is the wide group. They're matching C. So group 10, there's going to be one person in group 10 that can main comm to everybody in the team speak, right? Hey, I'm seeing 15 coming over to C on the breakout. Great. So group 10 is going to keep them busy. And I'm going to say, okay, group 9 and group 4, go match. Okay. And they rotate over. Plain and simple, right? I don't have diagrams or like slides for this because this is all what we talk about in the pre-war. Okay, so here we go. Well, we'll talk about that on the attackers slide, Hunch, because everybody does attacking differently. So this is the default setup. Why do you do this default setup? Because as a caller, you have all of the flexibility to rotate around. As a caller, you could send these groups over to C to help. As a caller, you can take your point team off B and send it to C. You could do a lot from this default positioning to match rotates that you need to match, right? So that's why we do this default no matter what. If they send 20 to C, all right, well, we send all this over, right? It's really easy to rotate from this positioning of the army, okay? So there's your default setup, all right? Now, exactly. It's quite, the caller is quite, that's what we forget. The caller is quite literally facilitating the rest of the army because they're reading the information that's present to them. They're hearing the information that the other groups are radioing to them to main comms, and they're making decisions. It's a caller against a caller, right? You have your 2 chess masters. You have your 2 quarterbacks, right? They're calling the war, and they're moving the groups all around. Now, a caller is nothing without an army listening and doing the right things. So if you have an army that doesn't respect their caller, it's not going to work, right? The army has to believe in the caller, and the caller has to believe in the army to make the right decisions for everyone to go. So this is a split. Now in attacking, you often split. You split to 2 different points, right? So A is capped. The attacker's got A point capped. Here we are in defense, and a split has been called. So this is the default split. You see what I did here, guys? You see these left groups, 3, 5, 7. They're furthest from the rotate. You want to synergize everything. This is for defense. Yes, this is for defense. You want to synergize everything that you do in the raid plan, right? Why are these guys on the left side, and where will they be on the split? Well, they're on the left side because they're just going to stay on the split instead of these guys on the left side running all the way over here and these guys staying. That doesn't make sense, right? You want to synergize your raid plan. So here's the default. Here are the guys on the left side. They're going to hang out here. Now, you can do different things with the quad DPS. You can also do different things like leaving an extra group at B. But your main goal, everybody, is you never want to lose C. You always give B. So what was Scrandy Squad, the Dream Killer's biggest problem in their last war that we did last night with them? The caller got too greedy. Whether or not, the groups might not rotated, the groups might have listened, whatever reason that may be. There could be a million reasons, and it's not the caller's fault. It could be group 3 didn't hear, or whatever the fuck it may be, right? But the caller should have recognized that the job wasn't getting done. The point team was bleeding at C, and they lost B and snowballed into C. And there was no regroup. So you always, rule of thumb, if C is losing and you're also losing B, you want to give B to regroup on C. Why? Read my paragraph here. You play aggressive at C, you look for picks in the Zerg. If we die, we can give B and regroup at C, right? So we play super aggressive at C. We're looking for kills, all these people looking for kills. If we kill them, well, now I can send point team back to B, and now we're 2-point holding the company that's attacking us, right? And if we don't kill them, say we wipe and we stagger, well, now I could just say, give B. Look at that. Now we're set up. Now we're in a 50v50 again, right? So it's a win-win situation for the defense, and that's what I'm trying to explain. As a caller, you want to call your C groups to play super aggressive while your B groups play safe and de-tick the point, right? If they win, well, now we're going to 2-point hold because we get to rotate people back to B and the attacker's all fucked up. If they lose, well, now we're just going to give B and it's all good anyways. So there you go. Simple as that. Okay? If you're the C split, play super aggressive as an army, play as a Zerg, look for picks. If you're in the B split, you want to stay safe and de-tick the point. And that's it. Default at C. This is the default at C, right? 3 is your bottom left quad. 5 is your bottom top left quad. 4 is your bottom right quad. 6 is your top right quad. Keep in mind we're the defense, so we're looking out over. Okay? Yeah, it was 303 apples pack. So there's that. And this is your default setup. Remember, your inner lane, your group 9 lane, your group 10 lane. This is why we did that demonstration at the fort, so that way when we looked at the raid plan, you'd know what the fuck is going on, right? You have the +2 quad DPS. For Cosmic, everybody moves their quad DPS around differently. For Cosmic, we like the +2 to be in 9's lane. Why? Because if all the kill squad facilitates from group 9. If you win 9's lane, 9 can look wide really quick and help, or the +2 can look to wide, or you could leave wide alone and 9 can look in and help group 8. 9 can get space and put pressure up here. The quad DPS can help group 8. There's a lot of things you could do if you win group 9's lane. So that's why we put the +2 in group 9's lane. So that way when they win, look at all the flexibility you have. You can go left, you can go right, you can go up, you can go into their road. You can do so many different things if you win this lane. If you lose this lane, what happens? The attackers get to plus into 8 and win inner. Now they're winning the point. Remember what we talked about. 1 dead slot kills the army, right? You lose 9, 8 inevitably loses, 4 and 6 will lose, your point will lose, and that's it. The war's over outside, right? So you always, it's so important. Group 9, in my opinion, is the most important group in the game. That's my opinion. Others will say it's wide because if wide loses, they get to do whatever they want. Others will say it's inner because if inner loses, the point losers. Others will say it's bond. Others will say it's the point team. Everyone has a different opinion on it. But for me, I think group 9 is the most important group in a war because so many bad things or good things can happen based on winning or losing that fight. So here's your default, right? Now we get into the regroup. This is what we talked about the regroup and why I could show you it easier on the diagram. Take a look at the default. Right? Memorize the default for a second. 3 bottom left, 5 top left, 6 top right, 4 bottom right, right? Now look at how the regroup forms and why. 3 was bottom left. Now they're going to hold the area that enters into their quad. Point team is going to help this area because sometimes the right of bond gets overwhelmed. Group 5, you see on the default, they're holding the lane that's going to go into their quad. Group 4 and 6, why are they out here if they're main ball point team? Why are they going all the way out here to match the group? Because you see where 4 and 6 are at. 4 and 6, and just do this. You see? You're gonna come out here, you're gonna take the fight out here, and then you're gonna slowly back up into your default positions, right? I guess it would look more like this. See? Does that make sense? So everything in the regroup has a specific reasoning for it. 8, 9, 10, why are they there? Because look where they end up. You know? They're gonna come out here, they're gonna form this wall with 4 and 6, and they're gonna slowly drop back into their roles and give space on the push. Okay? So everything in the regroup has a specific reason why we're regrouping like that. So the +2 quad DPS that are supposed to be in Oppo, I personally like to put them up on ramparts because that's +2 more heavy hitters in the fight. And if you can win 7 early, right? All the quad DPS has to do while this is all going on out here, right? All this is happening out here for a minute. This quad DPS is fucking this up. All right, now the fight has come back to here, right? Now the fight is back to here. Well, guess what? That's all they have to do. It's so easy for them, right? The +2 can be on ramparts, just helping this fight, helping snowball it, and then they can come right back to here. And they're fine. They didn't give space. They didn't do anything. And look at that. We're back into our default plan, right? With the quad DPS there. So that's why I put the +2 up here to help the group 7 and the +3. And that's your regroup. And this is how it works, okay? And you want to cut around our road through empty lane. And you want to, yeah, that's pretty much it. Should someone ever stack groups close together on regroup, close to point, and push in? Should someone ever stack close together on regroup, close to point, and push in? Probably not, because you don't want them to get kills, you don't want them to get an early crash, and you don't want to wipe, and then the whole point is snowballed from there. You want to stay spread, but you want to help each other. Like 1, 2, and 3 are going to help each other into the point. 5 is going to help, you know, all of this. 4 and 6 are going to help into this, you know, all that stuff. You want to match your fights, yes, but you also don't want to get wiped early on and be overwhelmed in one specific area. The rule of thumb in war is more blue is good and more red is bad. That's always been what it is. So that's your regroup. And then here's your fort default. Quad DPS, hard win the back gates, prio B choker, top walls, and clear the dirt. Okay? That's your fort default. You have 3 as your gate anchor C, 4 is your gate anchor at A. Group 10 is going to hover between A and D. Group 9 is going to hover between C and E. You have 1 and 2 in B gate. You have 6 as the right side flex team. You have 5 as your left side flex team. You have 7 on back gates. You have 8 on back gates. Okay? And your quad DPS, you're hard winning the back gates. Once you do that, you're prioing the B choke or the top walls, and then you're clearing the dirt. That's your checklist, right? Quad DPS, we hard win back gates. Then we look towards B choke if there's free casting healers there, or free casting fire staffs, or you could look top walls to keep our wall control. Either one works. And then you clear the dirt. When all said is done, top walls are clear, B choke's clear, back gates are clear. Well, we're going to come on in and pick off some people in dirt. Okay? Easy peasy. That's a defense raid plan, guys. That's it. That's a whole pre-war of defense. Now, attack is a little bit more intricate, right? An attack opener is always going to be different. Every single company, every single caller is going to make attack look different. Why do I do this opener? This is just our last opener from the Dopamine War. The last attack we had on Dopamine where we beat them, this is what we used right here. You can see it. A real raid plan from a week or 2 ago in the flesh, right? And why did we do this? So everything has an example and a point. We did the point team to C. Normally you wouldn't do this and you'd keep them at B. I did this because we didn't have a B point caller. So Delvar and Optical and other point team players are extremely vocal. And they're in TeamSpeak in my ear as the caller. I'm the caller. They're the point players. They're giving me information. Oh, there's +2 groups here at C. They're telling me everything in picture-by-picture frame of what's going on at C. Delvar is one of the best players in the game at doing this. I love warring with Delvar from Prim on my point team. This guy is a plethora of information. He's always communicating. He used to be a caller, so he feeds a lot of information. He is great to have in the back of your ear. He is telling you everything in a perfect picture format, and you could pick the information you need. So I'm at B with no healer getting farmed, calling the crashes for 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? And I'm controlling this fight, while Devar is feeding me information, and I'm controlling this fight off of his info. Callers can't do this. There's no caller in the game that I've heard call a crash at B and C simultaneously, win both crashes. I'm the only one to do it. I don't mean to flaunt my fucking shit, but it's a very hard thing to do, to be able to call for 2 points at one time and not being at one of the points, only hearing information. It's something I can do. It's something most callers can't do, and it's a tough thing to learn. So I highly recommend in every army, you should have a B point caller and your main caller. And what that allows you to do is your main caller could be where the juice is, and your B point caller is where the split is, right? And that allows like you to still focus on what's going on. My brain's just crazy. So this is the opener on attack, quad DPS and 7. Remember the difference between defense and opener, right? Here's your C split, right? I keep my 3 groups here, and I ask for a trio of DPS to stay, while the duo of DPS goes and plays with 8. My 8 is going to stay on bonfires, since our 7, our bonfire group, is stuck at B. They didn't go over to Oppo. Our point team with 2 quad groups and our kill squads are going to be here. We're not going to play quads. We're going to play Zerg, and we're going to play life. What's the job of the C split? It's never to cap C. It's only to get tick on C, so that forces their rotate from B to C, right? The job of a split is never to cap C. The job of a split is to win B. When you win B, you then get to win C, right? So that's the point of the split. Your job over here is to play life, play as a group. Don't play where the group numbers are. Play all these people right here should be 20 man on the point together, roaming around, making it really difficult for them to pick people off. While group 8 controls bonfire and then pluses into the point, while 9 and 10 keeps their kill squads busy, so our healers can live and heal these people. We're gonna hard tick C. We're not gonna win C. We're just gonna cause so many problems at C that their B groups rotate to C, and then we cap B for free. And that's the goal there. Here's your C default. Here's your C default. Group 4, bottom left. Group 6, top left. Group 3, bottom right. Group 5, top right. 1 and 2 on the point. 7 on ramparts. Blah blah blah. We've already talked about this, right? Our win condition here. And you could have notes, right? On this war, our win condition, our bonfire group was really strong. So our win condition going into the war, we were strategizing saying, we're going to look to control and crash the bonfire side. Because if our group 7 is always winning, keeping the pressure up here, that means they're not going to be able to, their groups aren't going to be able to run off point during a crash. So we're going to crash to the sides that we control. We're not going to crash into the biggest clumps when everybody can just get out for free because there's no control, like every other caller does in this fucking game, and you're pissing me off. We're gonna crash the sides that are controlled. And in this diagram, we're gonna shoot for bonfire control. That's our strategy. Our quad DPS are gonna push up with 7. We're gonna win bonfire, and then we're gonna crash bonfire side. And then we can send some Zergs left side to break up their Zerg on the left side. Easy peasy, right? Here's the win condition for our army. Main ball lives, outside control impacts the point. We knew against Dopamine, right? Every company you should do your research on. We knew against Dopamine that their kill squads were dog shit terrible retards, and their main ball were tier 1, tier 2 players. So we knew our main ball, all our main ball had to do was live, while our kill squads in 8, 9, 10, and 7 and our quad DPS farmed their kill squads. Once they did that, the kill squads are going to impact the point, which is going to make their main ball and their good players struggle, which is going to make our main ball win. Right? So here's the win condition. Our main ball lives while the outside control impacts the point. We're going to have slower setups on countdowns. We're not going to telegraph our crashes. We're going to bait a little bit. We're going to get out immediately after a crash. We're going to spread live on the point. We're going to get ready for instant recrashes with no countdowns. We're going to spread off their recrash. We're going to Zerg to the side we are calling for. Remember, we talked about all this already. That's why I'm speedrunning this part. And then we're going to slowly control outside space. Outside looks in for impact after the control. And then we're going to tick and finish with a strong crash. Boom. There you go. Here's how we are going to win the outside against Dopamine. It's all right there. It's all cut and dry for you guys to read. And that's what we did. And that's what we executed and how we won. We literally did this exact game plan. We won through it, and we won the war because of it, right? So there you go. And you should have these win conditions based on who you're fighting. Moppers has a better main ball and their kill squad is shit. So how are we going? You might want to use this if you're Dread, right? You might want to use this exact paragraph. But what happens if your Mopper is attacking Dread? Dread has the better kill squad, but Moppers has the better main ball, at least just from what I saw. It might not be true. It's just what I saw, right? So for Moppers, it's going to be, we're going to play a little bit more point-centric while our kill squads play to live and stall. So for this, it's the opposite. It's our kill squads are going to play aggressive. They're going to hard win, and then we're going to impact the point through the outside control. But the other side of things, Mopper's game plan should be, we're going to play more point-centric. We're going to ask our kill squads to just hold space and live and not play aggressive and not look for kills, while our main ball is going to wipe everybody off the main point, and then we can send extra main ball groups out to our kill squads to wipe them. So it all depends the army you're facing and their strengths and weaknesses. You shouldn't be on defense. Remember, defense is the same shit. Attack, you always want to see what they're doing, see their comps, see how strong their army is in different areas, where you can exploit their weaknesses and where you can win the war. And for us, this was Dopamine, bad kill squad, amazing main ball. How are we going to lower their main ball impact? Well, that's how we're going to do it. Here's the C regroup. Remember, this is the attacker side, right? So we have 7 on Bonfire. We have our top right quad to the right of Bonfire. We have 1 and 2. We have 3 to the left of Bonfire. We have our 4 and 6 pushing in. We have our 8 and 9. I send 8 and 9 together. I have 8 and 9. Oh, the VOD will be posted, Terry Tio. You can see it all in the VOD. We don't got time. We have war in 40 minutes, and we still got to get to questions. So 8 and 9, right? You see this? This is the regroup, and we're going to push in like this, right? I mean, there we go. We're going to push in like this, guys, right? And that's how the push in should look. Well, the other way around. You guys get what I'm saying, right? You understand. So the regroups are very specific based on the defaults, right? You see it. The regroups are going to end up where the defaults are, okay? A default, same shit, just different side. A split. This is all for me as a caller. I don't go through these slides in the raid plan. This is because things flip and my brain doesn't work properly, so I just need like a cheat sheet to be able to help me there. And then the B default, whatever. Now here's your horn waterfall. This stage is very important. All range always have to hit the horns. I'm tired of the egos of range not hitting horns. In order to play the game, this is the transition stage. You just capped outside, you're moving to the fort. What do? Well, you have a horn waterfall. You buy cannons you use for cover to break horns, right? And you have a horn waterfall. You see it all, the diagram. 7 and 8 are going to go apply backgate pressure right away, while everybody else, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 are going to zerg, right? So 1 and 2, you see it all. 4 and 6 get left while the rest of the zerg go over. And range player has to hit the horns. So you get free stat padding off the horns, and we need all horns and gates. Range, we're horny for horns. Range, shoot the horns, melee on the doors. Melee is on the doors, range on the horns. Melee on the doors, range on the horns. I say it all the time. We're horny for horns. We need to get the horns down, right? Very important. It also builds your ult up. If you just burned your ult and everything on the crash at C that won the C point, well, now you can just hit horns and free pad off gates to build your ults up. So that way our first push, you have ultimates. Okay? Beautiful. If you're like Big Mac said, if you're soldiering and you're doing the right things and we watch your VODs, we're going to want you in there. So make sure you're doing the right things. Now, this is the default breach setup. Now, we're past the transition stage. All range and horns are down. Here's our breach at the fort on the attackers. 7's back right, 8's back left. We have 2 main ball groups on the left side. We have 2 main ball groups on the right side. We have our point team right up the chute in the middle, okay? We have 1 kill squad on our strong side. We have the wide on our weak side. So this is the weak side, which, if that's weak side, it should look like this. This is the weak side. Why is it the weak side? Because you have your wide group over here, whereas your strong side, you're going to have your group 9, right? Which is more melee. So you're going to push in with the duo DPS. These were just rotate B audibles. I always take a main group off of each side to be my rotate group. And I like to audible things around and rotate people around the fort. That's for another day, caller class. And then if their quad DPS stacks a side gate, move 1 group to B while that side gate plays life. Quad DPS trio to D, then look A side. Quad DPS duo to E, then look C side. There's specific instructions. Now, the one thing I'll tell you guys about breaching, do not sit at the gates as the attackers. What is the defense's job? How do they win the war? They're keeping you outside. They're keeping you in the chokes. They're keeping you busy at the gates because you're not ticking the point by doing that. What is the attacker's job to win the war? Tick the point and win the war, right? You can't tick the point if you guys breach and you fight at dummies the entire time here. You can't do that. You're not ticking the point. You're not impacting the war, and the defense wants you stuck here. So you hit a cleanse pot. You walk through the ice shower or whatever the fuck they're giving you. The healers set up sacreds to get through. So you have little spots to reset for a second and pop a pot in or catch a DE in. And you're going to bring it all the way to point, right? You're not going to use your ult. You're not going to burn a det or a vines or anything. You're not going to do any of that. You're going to get into the fort. If you can't walk through the gate, you can't play the game. I promise you, if we see a VOD where you're stuck at the gate just sitting there, unless they put 5 fucking groups at the gate, there's no reason for it. Everybody is super tanky. Everybody can live through shit. Walk through the gate. You're not going to die if you have a decent healer. Walk through the gate. Cleanse and walk in. That's all it is. The defense wants to hold you there. That's the defense's job. The attacker's job is to cleanse and walk in. Okay? And now this is what it's going to look like when you're inside the fort and you're ready to go. Okay? You've brought it to the point. We've gotten through the gates. Our group 9 is patrolling above, back gates to C or C to B. Our group 10 is controlling B to back gates over here. Our group 8 and 7 are controlling stage. Remember the Toof's presentation where he was drawing like where they should impact, what they should do. They're all doing this shit. Our 5 is top right of point. Our 3 is bottom right of point. Our 4 bottom left of point. Our 6 is top left of point, right? All the normal shit, right? Our bottom quads are still bottom quads. Our top quads are still top quads. They're entering from the sides that they need to play on. 4 and 6 entering left. They're on the left side. Group 10 entering left. They're on the left side, right? And there's all that. And basically 1 and 2 is getting on the point to create spin. 3, 4, 5, 6 is crashing the point to get tick, then playing for dirt and recrash. 7 and 8 is keeping the stage clear, then flex the dirt hell on your side. 9 just set up top E or C, and 10 is set up top D or A. Okay? And there you go. That's a whole raid plan. That's a whole pre-war. That's exactly what it looks like. And now war, guys. What does war look like? We've done it all, right? We've had our introductions. We've had our goals. We've had our war prep. We've done our consumes. We've done our tickets and our gear checks. And we've done all of the homework that we need to do to play the war, right? We understand the terms. We understand the proper composition. We've done the war raid plan. We're in the war. It's fucking time. Well, here's a little bit what war looks like. Enjoy the videos.
Here comes the bonfire side, they're all mine! This is huge! Wipe them all! Let's fucking go! Push up, oh shit on this game! This is a 2-point hole!
Ex-Mexico!
Respawn now.
Cancun!
We're speed running trap rounds, boys! All in! Concepts to step in! Step in! Everybody in! That's fucking right, baby!
Sit down! Sit down!
I want the healer. It heals.
Ticker's on decks. Alright, I'm getting him. Nice, go!
Tina? Big boy. Yeah, we're so split like our full army. I got it!
I'm up in 10.
Oh shit, run, baby! Get out! No, the fucking bushes!
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting top left! Oh my god!
Game on well.
I'm gonna be real, that was like one of the most mid clips I've ever seen. And these fucking guys submitted it like it was something. Like, what the fuck?
I got nades for this. I got nades right here. They're all needed. Nice. Good shit, guys. Get towards point. Setting more siege. They're setting more siege. No! No!
Unlucky.
Henry.
Okay, I have that with you.
Come on, second. Looking right in front of you. Yeah.
Press up, take space.
Yeah,
like right side point.
Come up, yeah. Top.
Yeah, I'm grab that again.
Setting it. Grams. I got nades in it.
Oh my god.
Jules, my goat. #1 most wars played all time.
I'm Kurt Hell. Full screen of Kurt Hell. They're also Kurt.
Oh, you! We won this! We won this! Point!
Good times, good times. And I'm here to tell you guys, New World League Season 3, Fresh Start Edition. Maybe coming soon. All right? Maybe. No leaks. Not saying anything crazy. But New World League Season 3, Fresh Start Edition. Might be seeing you guys soon, all right? No leaks. We'll just leave it at that for now, all right? When we all get bored in 2 months and we've all beaten up on each other, maybe a nice January 1st New World League Season 3 sounds great to me, all right? Here we go. This is a Group 8 VGIG POV, and you can see some of the things we were talking about Group 8 in the inner lane. This is a 2-minute thing, and then we're going to just finish up real quick, okay? Finish it up.
What have you become?
I am what you made me.
Yeah, Jared, I see him. Sharp behind you. Everything screams, Sharp behind you. Nice, look at who's your player. 1 HP, nice. Oh my god.
That was Sinaloa versus Network Check, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that's what that was. I remember we smoked the fuck out of them this war. I feel like this was Sin Network Check. I could be wrong.
Oh my god.
That little voice saying there's still hope. It's lying.
I'm buzzing on it. Yeah, I know. We killed my point. We killed 3 people. Oh, the middle flipping I'm sure all lines. You know, I'm in 2 minutes. I have a shard behind us on mid right. Mid right's all shard behind. I stream Keeper. Keeper screaming. Yeah, 3 days. I'm biting on Z Gallo, top right. Going like on screen. Impunity is low. Mangrin low. Mangrin no stand. Nice.
So here are the comms that he's saying, right? Mangrin low. I showered this. I'm dropping vines here. I'm, look at impunity. Impunity low. We got to kill these guys, right? And that's the comms that you want to be looking at.
I'm gonna vines them. Both of them vines. Shooting them. Nice. Shower behind mid left. All scream.
So thank you, Big Mac, for providing that. Thank you. And that's just a little bit about what war looks like. I'm going to be honest. I kind of went into great detail in the war raid plan and the roster comp and everything, all of these things, right? We've already talked about the opener, the split, the defaulted C, the horn door phase, the fort phase. We quite literally just talked about all of that. So it's kind of like we took the war raid plan and kind of put everything together. But those are the things that you want to work on, guys. We do these things, right? So you can start having fun now at a high level. Organized fun is fun. Winning is fun. And playing the game is fun, right? And if you're not willing to do these things, you're kind of farmed, right? So if there will be a New World League Season 3 one day, or, maybe Practice Wars come out where we don't have to push and we can't get griefed and we can actually do this properly. If Practice Wars come out where we can create our own wars at any given time that we want to do, I can promise you guys right now, I will put the Apple's guarantee, the Apple's promise that I will bring back a New World League Season 3, and it will be done correctly. It'll be me and my admin team, the way we ran New World League Season 1 the first way. Season 2 was kind of a whole melting pot of a bunch of people, and hey, maybe that's why it was a terrible job, right? Terrible job done. So Season 3 will be like me, my friends, us putting it together. And if they end up doing that one day with the Practice Wars, I'm bringing back New World League, and it's going to be incredible. The draft, everything. So that's that. Guys, in future segments, we are going to do individual class micro builds with special guests. So I'm going to bring in people that really understand the macro micro of these builds and of these positions. And we're going to do it. We're going to do a healer one, a melee one, a VG segment, a kill squad segment, a quad DPS segment. And we're going to do these things. So if you are one of the top players in the game that really understand the macro micro and you'd like to be featured as a special guest, reach out to me. Next weekend, we're doing another segment. Okay. So reach out to me. Let me know you're interested in doing those things and providing that education content for other people. We're going to eventually do live VOD reviews and what a VOD review is supposed to look like. A lot of people review VODs and they just say the stupidest and most nitpicky things, right? You don't review a VOD to nitpick. That's not the purpose. If you watch anybody in this game, including Brewsty's VOD or anybody in the chat that thinks they're one of the best war players in the game, right? You can find something they're doing wrong, and that's called nitpicking. You want to look at positioning, you want to look at awareness, you want to look at how they're impacting the war, how they're playing their position, their role, their group, all of that stuff. You don't want to nitpick like, Big Mac, you stand out here. You don't want to do that. That's not the point of a VOD review. The point is to teach, not nitpick and do shit like that, right? We're going to do each group macro micro groups 1 through 10, really go in depth for every single group's macro and micro eventually one day. We're going to do an advanced war macro micro class where we talk about sacred placement, or we talk all kinds of shit, right? All kinds of shit that go into war, but that's later down the line after you guys have developed on some of these things that we've talked about today, right? And then I'm going to hold a caller 101 class. So all of you aspiring callers out there, all of you guys that, how do I start calling? How do I get my brain structured to figure out how to call a war and everything going on? We're going to do a class on that one day. And eventually we'll do an intercompany political dynamics and how to run a company 101. So that's my segment, guys. Toofs was a huge help. We went 2.5 hours of this. We're 30 minutes early from the war. So now's a great time to open up for questions finally. First of all, I just want to say, I really appreciate everyone coming out to this. We had 45 people in the Discord just listening us to a ramble. We had over 200 viewers the entire time listening into the war class and absorbing this information. And I really hope that all of you guys learn something from this. Beefy, I never cut to you. Are you here, Beef? You alive? Is the Beefy alive?
Yeah, I'm alive.
Is there anything you want to say about anything we covered? Is there anything you want to tell people? Just like, you got anything for the crowd, Beefy?
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of hit the nail on the head.
Hell yeah.
Pretty super straightforward.
Awesome. And Beefy, you're going to see him in some of those melee classes that we're going to host. He's going to be helping like with a curriculum, and we're going to bring in other melees from across the game to help as well. Toofs, what about you, dog? You had a huge segment. Anything else you want to like wrap up? Anything we forgot? Anything you want to say before we get into questions and shit?
I have a lot of stuff I want to say, but I'll do that during a Kill Squad demo.
Sure, absolutely. There's a lot of information, guys, like a ton of information. So, I won't really look at the War Clash chat anymore, but if you have any questions at all, guys, Twitch chat is wide open for questions. Beefy and Toofs and I are here. I got about 20 minutes before I got to 15-20 minutes before I got to shut this down and go into the war and shit. So, yeah, guys, any questions? You guys were firing questions off all night. Now's the time to ask them. If you had any questions on the side monitor, we can go into detail. Otherwise, if you don't have questions, if you're not here for it, thank you guys for being here. Thanks to the follows. Thanks to the subs. You guys went crazy. And I'm going to be putting on content like this every single week for you guys, mixed in with war content. And by the way, if you don't have a question tonight, that's fine. If something pops up in your head, anytime that I'm not literally in pre-war or in the war itself, I'm happy to talk to you guys, right? That's my job. I'm a streamer. I'm a yapper. I'm here to talk to you guys, answer your questions, give my expertise of what I know about war and how I've led companies and help you guys do the same. So I'm here for that, okay? Just fire it off. Let me know. Here's a Kush cam for you guys. Hi, Kush. Do you want a treat? Everyone redeem treats. Would you like a bone? Well... You want a treat? You want a treat, baby? Go get a treat. All right, so I'm going to get Kush a treat, but get your questions fired off, guys. We're going to have about a 15-minute round table here to answer questions. And guys, give me feedback real quick. Before the questions, what did you think about all this? Did you enjoy the segment? Did anybody learn anything? Was it just brain dead shit? Was it just the Heaters hate watchers in my chat the entire time? What is it? Like, what did you give me criticism? Do you think I could have explained things better? Do you think Toos could have explained things better? Keep in mind, this was a very bare bones, and while it was a lot of information, it was very bare bones and like basic war stuff to get through. So, you know, let me know if you enjoyed it. The VOD will be posted on Twitch. The VOD will eventually be uploaded to YouTube to share it around. All this information will be there for you guys whenever you need it. Okay, it'll be up. I wish I did this at my first war class I did like 6 months, a year ago when you guys were here. I wish I put it on YouTube and had it. I don't, so we did it again right. So please give me your feedback. I just want to give Kush a treat real quick. I'm going to catch up on Chet in a second. Let me know. How was it? How was the class? Is there anything I could do better? Did I yap too much? Is there anything you guys want? Let me know. Give me some feedback, guys. Thank you. Real quick, proof to y'all that I'm giving him a treat. I'm going to catch up on chat now. Everybody in the stage, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to hop out of the stage. I'm just going to vibe with chat until my war. Thanks for all being here, all of you guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in. All right. The war class is done. Let's catch up. Hey, Woozy. Discord, TeamSpeak, talk in your groups in TeamSpeak and mute mic in Discord. So the only purpose for Discord, Orestes, there's one purpose only. It's to go through the raid plan because TeamSpeak doesn't allow you to stream. So it's to stream the raid plan, and it's also so 2 or 3 people in the war can stream their POV to the respawn caller. So the respawn caller has an accurate sync of respawn times, right? Because they change throughout the war. So once the pre-war happens in Discord, at least for Cosmic, I can't speak on your companies that you're in, but at least for Cosmic, we go through the pre-war. It's a minute to war. Mrs. Riot has the 3 or 4 beefy POVs like that she needs in Discord. Everybody else can leave the Discord. We only need you only need to be in the Discord for the 10 minutes of pre-war to learn and be there for the strategy. And then as soon as that's over, I say, all right, guys, we're heading to TeamSpeak, get set up. See you later in Discord. And only a few people stay behind to stream their POVs for the respawn caller. So that's the purpose of that. Quad DPS on breach goes E or D gate off rip, correct? It depends. On attackers, no, they don't go E or D gate at all. Or they could. Remember, this is just what Cosmic does, Nate Raid. Other companies might send their quad DPS to back gates. We don't. Or we might. Maybe another war we decide to do it. It always changes. It always fluctuates. But in that raid plan that I explained, no. Quad DPS will go through the front gates to get in and help the front gates get in. And then they'll plus the back gates and help the other areas. Yeah. Landed any big booty Latinas lately? No, unfortunately not. I'm still single as a Pringle, baby. 34-year-old bachelor out in Colorado. If you want to holler at me, let's get it. Why do so few healers run beacons? Because beacon is pure pad. So every single healer is only allowed to run Sacred, DE, and Clap, Splash of Light. If you don't run those things, you're not slotted in a Cosmic War. I don't know what the other companies do, but if you don't run those things, you're not slotted. There's one AoE healer that will run Orb and Beacon, and that's it. Just got in. I'm disappointed in myself. Hey, a VOD will be up, Emily. You can catch up. Heavy VG IG still a thing? Yeah, heavy VG or Blade medium VG. I think that you have to be a good player to know how to run Blade medium VG properly. And for my army, I want more heavies, especially on Hudson land. I want more people living. I want more ice walls like affecting the point. I don't want my guys like breaking off the point. Like, no, like I'd prefer heavy IGVG still until we break down the meta and figure it out. Rexy, good to see you, man. Rexy, where are you? Come on, man. Don't ego me. But yeah, it's useless healing. It doesn't out-heal any of the damage, right? Single target heals are BIS because they're immediately out-healing the damage. Pad, tick heals don't. This was really enjoyable. We get some feedback. I'll still need to get more in depth with positioning words, but love the major overview. Fuck yeah, Smash. I'm glad you got some value. If one person got some value out of this, then it was worth it, right? I just came back from a year break. Great info. Good shit, Sin. Proud of you. Hell yeah. Hate watching, as usual, Rug. Overall, really good review. Now that the overview is done, really looking forward to deep dives on roster building each role class in here for Wars. Fuck yeah, Tiles. We're going to get into it. Shirt, tie, and shorts. Yeah. I mean, shit. I'm only business from the waist up, party from the down. You know what I mean? Is there any Discord to see all recommended war builds? Nah, there isn't. There's not much information out there other than joining a company and asking people. That's pretty much the only, like, nobody's just going to help you out of their free will besides like classes like this, right? So it is what it is. Hey, Woozy, thanks, man. Thanks for the compliment. I think people will be able to learn more when you start diving into specific roles groups. Right. So the whole purpose of this, guys, is I can't get into all of this, right? I can't do any of this without doing all of this first, because everything that we're going to talk about in these segments are just going to go right over your head and you're not going to understand anything I'm saying if you don't understand all of this stuff. So that's why we did it that way. Yep. Can you show the classes you have for wars or post in Discord? No. We kind of went through that, Oristus. I don't know if you were here for that portion, but we went through all of the war compositions and the positions in war and everything. So if you missed that segment, you'll probably just have to rewatch the VOD and check that out. Yeah. What's your way for shot calling for TeamSpeak? Do you have a hotkey to automatically hold a button? Yeah, so originally I was calling with my mouse button, right? But my mouse button kept like dying. It kept like the input didn't always register. So everyone said my mic was peaking. It wasn't peaking. It was just the button saying that it wasn't being held, right? From the mouse. It was breaking. So I've moved to F12 as my key. And I set a macro up. So Logitech G Hub, here's a little trick for callers, right? You can open up Logitech G Hub if you have a Logitech keyboard, right? You can go into the keyboard. You can go into macros, and you see I have a push to talk macro where I click this button, right? F12 on my keyboard, and it acts like it's permanently held down, like I set it up to toggle. So when I click F12, F12 is always held down permanently. And then I go into TeamSpeak and I set my F12 as my push to talk. So my computer thinks that I'm permanently holding down F12. All I have to do is click it one time and I'm speaking to everybody. It's really, really nice. So shout out to Logitech for having that in there. You playing in Cath? Yeah. So my servers that you guys will see me on is that. And then I'll have one more character, my main that's already geared, freed up to go wherever in 26 days. So if you guys are looking for a caller or a group healer, I'm happy to do those things for your companies. And I'll have a character free. And I think it's 23 days I'm down to. So in 23 days, I can come join. Hit me up if you need it. Voidblade is bad. I mean, hey, coming from the Voidblade guy himself, right, Hoodie? So fortifying over Keen, I don't know what you're saying, truly average player. I don't know. I got hooked in the throne, just warlogging a New World now. Great, Rexy. All right, awesome. You know what was funny? It was everybody that was flaming Throne and saying it was a terrible game, and then now all of you are playing Throne. Wasn't that crazy? Yeah. Our caller is skeptic on calling in TeamSpeak for that reason. Yeah, and I was too, Baker. I refused to go to TeamSpeak, and I was like one of the last callers to switch to TeamSpeak. That's why Cosmic was always like a Discord calling company with Canary, and then I just realized how fucking incredible it is. I just realized like TeamSpeak is just that much better. And like I can have different groups whispering to me. I can have Big Mac and Group 8 and Toofs and Quad DPS, and I can have Hawks, and I can have the wide group, and I can have, I can have everybody feeding me information by them clicking a button and talking to me. And it's just awesome. You can't do that in Discord. That doesn't exist. Yeah, it's going to be saved. It's going to be posted on my channel. So it'll be posted here, and eventually I'll upload it to YouTube in a couple days. What server to play for war content? I don't know, man. Beats me. I'm on 3 different servers. I don't know. They're all different, right? They're all different. Every server brings its own unique thing. Stone is buns. New World is buns. True on everything. Literally, Big Mac, yeah, that was the thing. Sinaloa really wanted me to get on TeamSpeak when I joined Sinaloa. And I just kept telling him, I'll set it up eventually. And then one day I actually just sat there and set it up. And it's been huge. It's actually just so much war. So much of a win. If your company's not using TeamSpeak, you're hard trolling, and get on it like now. Yeah. No, Pangea is shit. Pangea is a shit server. It's dog. It's actually like other servers are more sweaty than Pangea. I'm telling you. TeamSpeak wins wars. Yep. Talk to Teddy Grams. Get him to come over. That'd be cool. But yeah, guys, I'm caught up. Any other questions or anything, guys? We have like 5 minutes. Yeah, but a lot of people have transferred off Pangea since then, you know? It was a dope fucking segment, guys. I had a lot of fun yapping my ass off for 3 hours. That was dope. That was dope. Good times. And now we're going to get into a war. We have war in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So now we're going to get into the fucking war. Okay, because Sacred comes with a lot of buffs. It comes with a lot of stable healing. It controls an entire area. It heals more. When you cast a Divine Embrace in a Sacred, they get more heals. When you drink a pot in a Sacred, you get more heals. There's about a million reasons why Sacred would be chosen over Beacon, and it's not even close. And it's easily Sacred is the best ability in the video game. By far, like Zux just said, it is the best ability, and it's not even close. Of course I'm streaming the war. Hello? It's my job, Orestes. Yeah, the Sacred Tree is insane, and it's just like Sacred is the best ability in the game. I'd say Sacred and Gravwell are your two most impactful things in the game, and then Ice Wall is your third. Sacred, Gravwell, Ice Wall. Those are like the three best abilities in the game from my take, my POV. Sacred, Gravwell, Ice Wall. Sweep is good too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to upload all these on YouTube eventually. Probably not in the next few days, but eventually I will. For now, the VOD will be posted on my channel for you guys. Yep. That's another thing, Yeppy. Yeah, controlling your beacon placement is a bitch. You go to cast your beacon and somebody just rolls in front of you right when you click the button. Now that beacon that was supposed to heal your point is just gone to another healer that's running away. I'll work on it, Tiles. I'll work on it. Yeah, I don't know, Aller. I don't know. Thanks for the help, dude. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Monkey Man. Appreciate you being here. Which war is it, 11? It's this war. Is my map bugged? I'm just going to reload. I'm not doing this. It's the Hudsonland War. I'm not sure which territory it is, but yeah. But we're going to be slamming New World all night, guys. I'm going to be live for a very long time tonight. And I will post the VOD. Unfortunately, you can't see my VOD until my stream's over. And I'm going to be live like all night. I'm going to be live probably for the next like 6-7 hours minimum. I'm slamming New World tonight. I got a lot of shit on my list that I have to do. So my VOD won't be posted until you guys get up in the morning probably. Grandy is looking for a fire staff right now for war if anyone wants him. Hey, John. Thanks again for that DM that you guys were running a raid at 1 p.m. this afternoon. No, I didn't, because you guys can't run on raid at a normal time. I'm so sick of it, Yeppy. Like, you guys are actually starting to piss me off. Like, I'm not even kidding, Yeppy. I'm not fucking with you. Like, I'm actually starting to get pissed off. I got a DM, who was it? JP or Discourager today? Discourager. 11 o'clock this morning. Are you up, brother? Doing a midday run right now. Let's get you in. John, you've run 10 of them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. People do, normal functioning humans of society are not playing video games at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Every invite I have gotten to a raid has been before 5 p.m. What are we talking about? Where's the 11 p.m. raids? Where's the 12 a.m. raids? Where's the after war raids? What are we talking about? True Rem, you got me. But it's like, why are we asking people to do Gorgon at 11 o'clock in the morning? 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Why are we doing these things? Like, I don't know, man. I guess I'm just not going to get Gorgon done. My gear's ready to go anyways, but I guess I'm just not going to get Gorgon done. It's all good. I'll pug it out and create some memes again. But it's just like, it's insane. No tiles. No, I already got my Gorgon done on our server on Hudson Land. I'm talking about Arctica, and these guys, John Pinkerton and Discourager and Yeppy, are like, we'll get you in a raid. And their raids are like 11 to 3 during the day. You know? It's just like... And then you ask them at like 10 p.m. and they go, oh, we're too burned out. We've been running them all day. Maybe don't run the raid at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Maybe don't do that. Maybe do it like at night when people are on the video game. It's like, it needs to be studied, Yeppy. These Sinaloa leaders need to be studied. They need to like be put under a microscope and studied, because it is mind-blowing to me. It's so... Like, it's just such a shit show, man. So yeah, maybe I'll get a run, maybe I won't. But I'm not getting on before like 5 p.m. All right, I need to piss. I need to get right. I need to get some music on, guys. We got a big war. It was pretty good content, wasn't it? Yeah, just let me know. I'm free for the night. John, I just have to do this war. As soon as this war is over, I'm chilling for the night, just working on shit. All right. And John and Yeppy, I'm just busting balls, man. It's not that deep. If you guys can't get me in a raid, it's all good. It's not that serious. Love you guys.
I'm the same, I let shit slide, and I'm in every word that I said. I put this on the seat. I'm the same nigga thug from the cell to the bridge. Better ask about X. Matter of fact, come and see how this rap shit help me, nothing to me. Hey.
Because I think I know who it fucking is.
Hey,
Turn it on for a second.
Are we doing TeamSpeak tonight?
Yeah, TeamSpeak. Yep.
Fuck yeah, thank you.
Connected. Channel switched. Sound muted.
Everybody, real quick, everybody. I'm actually going to end the stream and restart it right away. So please don't go anywhere. I'm literally going to click stop stream. So that way it saves the VOD of my war class and then it starts a new stream. And that way everybody could just watch the war class right away. Okay. So please don't go anywhere. And yeah, I'll be right back. Can you ask Beefy for it, Nitro? I'm kind of busy until war. So yeah. I'm going to stop stream. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'm literally stopping and starting stream, okay? I'm right back. Refresh in a second. Fuck you, Yeppy.